Yeah. Should watch. The whole circle getting exposed. Data boys hiding in the basement, critical neurotic Briggs Hill, all talk, no talent. Tripping on rage, circle jerking every night. Same tide complaints, same pathetic online fights. Fuck your whole crew, you talentless hacks. Crying about Hollywood while your own shit cracks. No mercy, straight facts in your face. Bury the whole circle, rest in peace. What a waste. Critical drinker, Scottish growl, always playing tough. Hiding behind the lads, cause you can't stand on your own enough. Reading about Mary Sue's like it's still 2016. But your whole career's just negativity and memes. Failed writer vibes, never dropped a real script. Just endless complaints on a one-way trip. Showed your face, thinking it gives you more cred. Still just another voice in the echo chamber, misled. Nerd-rotic Gary, self-proclaimed comic gatekeeper. But you never created shit, just a full-time hater. EFAB streams where you all not in agree. Circle jerk sessions and crypt on repeat. Comics are dead every single week and you add nothing new, just whine and tweet. Basement dweller energy, stuck in the past. Your whole brand dies the second the outrage doesn't last. Jeremy Griggs, geeks and gamers, clickbait supreme. Disney ruined everything, that's your only theme. Sitting in that chair, dropping the same tide takes. Channel bleeding sus while your relevant spades. Geeks and complainers leading the bit of parade. Predictable rage, bait man, your game is played. Try to be the voice of the fans, but it's clear you're just another grifter living off fear. Heels, babyface, wrestling fan, turn coach, your king. But every take you drop still misses the ring. Talk tough like you're cutting promos every day, but your content's mid and fading away. Dropping to the algorithm, chasing every trend. Two-man circle still stuck where it began. Fake outrage, warriors never building a thing. Just riding the hate wave, hoping it brings you clout and bling. Whole damn circle, quartering Disparu, all you same types, repeating the script, living off the same hype. Don't create, don't build, just tear everything down, screaming free speech till your own shit gets clowned. Hypocrite squad, the grifters wearing thin, your glory days are over. Now it's the end. Data boys hiding in the basement, critical neurotic Briggs Hill, all talk, no talent. Grifting on rage, circle jerking every night. Matt Jarbo, sit the smoke. Whole crew exposed. It's over.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome back. It is, of course, Wednesday, the 8th of April, 2025. And I thought, why not? If you can't beat them, join them, and then beat them. Now, if you've seen The Boys, seasons 5, episodes 1 and 2, you recognize that quote from last night, which makes a lot of sense considering that, Billy the Butcher is going to be out there doing some fucking shit. Anyway, welcome back to the show. Tonight, we are going to be engaging in Chud Watch. It's been a while since we've done it. So we'll dive into what the idiots are saying, especially given the fact that I've kind of been a centerpiece of conversation over the course of the past week and some change. Apparently your boys out there on Twitter causing some fucking shit. So might as well capitalize on it a little bit, have ourselves a little bit of fun, and then also see exactly what's going to be going on. Let's see here. Parallax says The Boys season 5 is already off to a great start. I don't know what some of the reviewers watched. Well, truth be told, we never really know what they watch or how much they actually pay the fuck attention. Those guys have to watch a lot of stuff and they generally suck at what they do. They're on the other side of the situation involving the grifters. You know what I mean? Like, they get the access, so they get to watch it first so they can just watch it, kind of stomach their way through it or fake their way through it. And then from there, they can then make the money. People think Wendigoon is right. Wendigoon's a moron. Are you fucking kidding me? I saw his response to what I said, and what I said was absolutely correct. I don't know, since not a lot of people here really give a fuck about AI, right? Let's just be fair about that. When I tend to like it, I tend to talk about it. A lot of you guys out there don't give much of a shit. So you know what? We'll try something you like, which is drama. I always get requests to talk about these guys. But when it comes to my own opinions about artificial intelligence and the fact that it is art and it is interesting and it is going to lead the charge for a lot of shit, going forward in the next couple of years involving entertainment. I'm sorry, there's no way to look at a lot of what's going on in the industry right now and not realize that that particular shift is fucking coming. So it's best to get on board or get the fuck out the way. And I say that largely because there's so much interesting stuff that is coming out of AI, especially from just a fan base perspective, right? So while we wait for some more people to jump on in tonight, let me show you this little trailer I snagged off of Twitter. Okay. Just to show you what somebody put together in their interpretation of what a live action or at least heavily CG version of a BioShock series could look like. So I thought that was actually pretty interesting. I mean, you can tell it's AI. It's got a lot of problems. It's definitely pulling from the, the aesthetics of the game. But I do feel that what we are looking at here is something that, again, fans are going to make themselves. And that is something that we really, really, really have to contend with. Because if they don't start giving fans what they want, you will see the fans start to make it themselves. And that is where we are. I know not everybody out there believes me on that one or agrees with me on that one, but that's entirely okay. Let's see here. What's up, Parallax? I don't know why you're under another account. Just come back to your regular account. Anyway, what's up, Arturo? How you doing? What's going on, Tony? I didn't time out your other account. That wasn't me. So anyway, so there's a couple things I want to start off with tonight. A couple quick articles to go through before we dive in to the Chud Watch, largely because I do feel it kind of ties into where I'm thinking Hollywood is at this particular moment in time. You didn't think I was going to be on? Yeah, I got a little bit ticked off, so I thought I would go on. All right. So there's that. Okay. So first up today, I want to talk here about this article in Variety that is all about Gen Z driving the box office, right? It says here, Gen Z goes to the movies. Younger audiences are driving everything. Uh-oh. What happened? My microphone. The fuck? Oh, fuck. Shit. It came loose. Hold on. I have to unplug it and then retighten it.
Yo.
Hello, Shorty. What are you doing?
Nothing.
Are you all alone?
What's up? What's up?
What the? Who's that?
Yo, pick up the phone. What's up?
What's up?
Yo, Duque, pick up the phone. Yo.
What's up?
Anyway, I'm back. Okay, thank you for that. My microphone became dislodged from its stand. I was like, oh shit, I don't know when to fall. Anyway, okay, so here we are. No, it was just the microphone fucked up. So there we have it on that one there. Okay, so Gen Z goes to the movies, younger audience, driving the box office study shows. Now, what this is there is a Fandango study that surveyed roughly 7,000 people. And they revealed that apparently 81% or 87% of Gen Z and 82% of millennials visited the theater at least once in the last year. That's what they're generally pulling from here. So let's say, all right, during the pandemic, Hollywood worried that Gen Zers would never get into the habit of going to theaters, preferring streaming on their smartphones instead. Again, it's not so much streaming on their smartphones as much as it is their set-top device, their console, their tablet, whatever, right? It's not necessarily a smartphone situation here. But they got this new study, okay, that says that they're spending more per visit on concessions and premium formats like IMAX. Now, I have long said, and I stand by this, I have long said that IMAX, if it's presented as the norm or as the desired viewing experience, right, the nominal viewing experience, it's going to destroy theaters. No one can support going, right? No one can afford to keep consistently going to IMAX. Yeah, they saw an increase last year, but overall ticket sales were down. And because of premium prices going up, it only raised the box office in 2025 by 0.2% or 2% or whatever the fuck it was. Very, very, very minimal. All right. Very minimal. And that's the entire aspect of all of this shit, right? People aren't going as much, not just because of post-COVID, but because of the uncertainty of our economy. And so, yeah, if you're seeing these Gen Zers and these millennials go up, all right, at least one movie theatrically in the past 12 months, compared to 70% of Gen Xers and 51% of baby boomers. Gen Z and millennials have also returned more frequently, with each demo averaging about 7 visits per year, ahead of Gen X, or Gen X is 6.1 and baby boomers 5.7. So think about that. Okay, they're only going there. Notice how it says it's up. They're going like, oh, 87%. It's all about 7 times a year. If you were to ask them when they're going those 7 times a year, you would most likely get, again, I would say either March and April, May, June, July, November, December. Those are your key moments where they'd be going, unless there's a good horror movie that came out in January or September, early October, because horror is a factor that is driving these Gen Zers going to theaters. Okay. And so the data here, they're trying to frame it. They're trying to make this whole fucking argument that Gen Z is the one that's pushing everything forward. Because one of the things that they're doing is they're showing that it's meant to be a social activity. All right. They want it to be the Gen Zers are treating it like something they go and do together. Now, what happened last year? What happened last year when Minecraft, the movie, came out? What did they do? When Minecraft, the movie, came out, they decided that they were going to go and chicken jockey the fuck out of the place, which are not only Gen Z, but Alpha as well. Right? You had the similar situation happen when the Minions Rise of Gru came out a couple years back, with the gentle minions going to like the TikTok trend. Even the Minecraft stuff was a TikTok trend. Regal almost implored it to happen. They were inviting it to happen. They were inviting it to happen because they know that they're trying to get a quick solution. They are trying to get a very, very, very quick solution to a problem that they are not looking at solving in the way that it should be solved. And if you're wondering what exactly that problem is, well, I can show you what that problem is. That problem is very simple to showcase. All right, let me just, do I have it downloaded? I thought I had it downloaded. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So here we go on this one here. Okay. This is, by the way, plug your ears. This is why people aren't going to the theater as much. All right. People like this lady right here.
Yes.
Yeah, he mad. Let me tell you. My phone, my mama texted me. No sound was on.
Okay.
I answered the text. He's coming out. Excuse me. Can you turn the light down on your phone?
I said, excuse me.
I said, don't tell me what to do with my phone.
But the thing I was just,
Don't tell me what to do with my phone.
Okay.
These kids, they can't worry about yourself.
But what you're doing here now means you need to leave.
No, I paid to be here. What you mean? What do you mean? I can answer a text on my phone.
You are walking through this whole auditorium, disrupting.
What you mean? He disrupted too.
I
How is it okay for him to tell me to put my phone up?
I will talk to him. What you just
How is
did.
it okay for him to tell me to put my phone up?
I haven't
Y'all gonna
heard
refund
from
me my
you.
money. Y'all
I
gonna
am
refund me
not
my
going
money.
to refund you.
Yes, you is.
You are disrupting everything.
What do you mean? He just disrupted everything. He just disrupted everything. Y'all gonna have to give me my money back. He just told me to put my phone up. He don't know what's going on. So y'all gonna have to give me my money.
Then come to
Y'all gonna
me.
have to give me my money back.
Got the-
Because I'm gonna call the police. Y'all gonna give me my money back. Because he not gonna never make me. You're not gonna put me out. But
So, okay, we're just like 57 seconds or so into 53 seconds into this whole thing. And I won't force you to watch the whole video because it goes on for a while, even though we will skip to the end when she kind of like exposes herself for being the person that she is. The thing that we have to remember about this, okay, is that you have a bunch of other people that are paying premium prices to go and see a movie. This lady right here pulls out her phone, whatever, to answer a text message. Okay, it is what it is. She pulls out her phone, and then the gentleman says, hey, would you mind turning like the brightness down or turning it off, which I think is a perfectly acceptable thing to say to somebody if they're doing that when you're watching the movie. I do agree with Tony here. You could have just stepped out to check your phone. That's another factor as well. All right. But if you're just taking a quick peek at it, putting it back in your pocket, or maybe, it's like typing off a couple letters or something. Look, I'm a stickler, but I'm not that. I can let some things slide. All right. But you guys got to understand a couple things here. One is this manager is being very nice. I wouldn't have already been this nice. As soon as she started getting hysterical, I would have already been like, you need to go, or I'm calling security. You're not getting your money back. But the reason why she's acting the way that she's acting is because she knows deep down that she could probably push this dude enough in order to refund her money and maybe even refund her concession money. All right. But what you got to remember about this is that she is also in a moment here going to try to get other people on her side, which is a tactic. It is a peer pressure tactic. It is a bullying tactic against the manager and the theater, because she's trying to get more people to rally to her cause to force him to acquiesce to what she wants. So you can kind of jump forward a little bit here.
My money back. Why are you not giving me my money back? He making me leave. I'm gonna tell you what happened. Yes, I'm gonna tell you. This man just told me to put my phone up. I got a text. No sound went off. He's talking about the light on your phone. Can you put your phone up? I said, no, you're not gonna tell me what to do on my phone. He said, I'm gonna go get security. I said, go get security. I'm gonna go get it with you. Now he's telling me I gotta go, and I want my money back because he shouldn't have had no right to tell me to put my phone up. You didn't hear no sound on my phone. He's talking about the light on your phone. What about the light on my phone? You're not gonna tell me what to do with my phone. I need my money back. I'm gonna call the police.
I'm asking you to leave.
When I get my refund,
You have been shouting for this whole time.
okay, and you being racist.
No,
I want my
sir,
money.
can I-
I want my money.
See, listen,
Can I let me talk to you for a little bit?
Talk to him about what? You told me to
Okay,
put
so
my
one
phone
of-
up. You
one
had
of
no
these is
right
like-
to tell me to do that.
One thing that teaches
So
this
he
bill.
needs to go too, because he started the service in there with his kids. Yes, he did. He said, put your phone up. Put your phone up. Your light is flashing me. I said, you're going to do that with these kids in here?
Okay,
You can't
so,
tell me what to do on my phone. We all need to go.
one-
If I got to go, he needs to go too. He needs to go too. Okay, you don't want to make him, pull your phone up, start recording, because I'm going to call the police. You don't want to make him leave? We all need to go. We all got to go. If I got to go, he needs to go too. You weren't even in there. You weren't right. So how you putting me out?
We have no idea what happened.
So how you putting me out? Yeah, because how did this man get the right to tell me to put my phone up?
He is not doing anything wrong.
What you mean? I need my money. If I gotta go, he don't give me my money.
Chica, if you can get her money, I give you the money so you can give it to her. So we can stop this. The thing is, like, she needs respect.
hold on, hold you catch that guy. If you're going to give her the money, I'll just give you the money to give to her to get her the fuck out of here. Like, that's what this guy is doing. This guy is literally saying, I will give you the money to give to her to get her to fuck off. And she is upset about someone telling her to turn off her phone in a theater. And she's freaking out over that, right? And it goes to show you just how much it escalates and escalates and escalates. Okay, so so what you got here is a guy in the purple shirt as a manager. What you got here, the guy in the black shirt most likely is like a shift lead or a team lead or maybe an assistant manager. All right. But really, for the most part, they're being pretty calm about this. I mean, I've dealt with drunks and crazy people before, but they're being pretty good about this.
I guess the manager said they had an issue. They tell me that because I read from Florida, I have to leave. And I said, well, I don't have a problem with that, but I have to leave. Because how can another customer tell me to put my phone?
Hold on.
That's why you're loud, because I'm upset. Because I just received a text and I got another customer telling me I gotta go put my phone up. And now they tell me I gotta leave the show and they don't want to listen to it.
She just keeps repeating herself, right? She just keeps repeating herself because she's hoping to get something out of it, trying to find the part.
Vete para allá, René. Vete para allá.
Where is it? I should have had it marked.
Vete para allá. No es conmigo, por favor.
Hold on, let me see here. If I can find it, because it's really telling.
Mexican back. Since y'all both racist, that's what racist people do. And I'm putting y'all all on Facebook. You is racist, he is racist. I want my money. I'm calling the police. I'm calling the police. I want my money. I want my receipt.
The thing is, like, she misrespected me, like, go back to Mexico, go back to Guatemala. I
Yeah,
think
but
it's,
you telling me to put my
no,
phone
no,
up. but you
I don't-
Here we
telling
go.
me to put my
Oh,
phone
that's
up.
I
Money, so you
overshot
can give
it.
it to her, so we can stop this. The thing is, like, she misrespected me, like, go back to Mexico, go back to Guatemala. I
Yeah,
think
but
it's,
you telling me to put my
no,
phone
no,
up. Who
it's-
you
I don't,
tell me to put my phone
I don't think
up?
it's not the right way to
Who
respect
you
her.
tell me to put my
So,
phone up?
I mean, I'm just saying.
Exactly. Nobody. You don't know what's going on with my life or why I
Yeah,
haven't
thank
sex. Yeah, y'all.
So, okay, did you catch that right? He says, like, hey, can you please put your phone away? She tells him to go back to Mexico. And then she completely thinks that she's in the right here. I agree with Joe. Just call the cops and boot her. It takes a little bit of time for the police to arrive to a situation like this. It takes a little bit of time for that to happen. Depending on the area, if you have to call the cops multiple times, they're never going to look at it as being something that like is a priority. But ultimately, in this particular situation, that's a lot of what she is. All right. This video is old. Drop is still playing it. Well, I'm pointing it out as an example, Joe. This is also Sinners was in theaters. So it was at least like almost a year ago. Okay. But the idea is ultimately the same. Now let's just kind of see where it ends because I'm kind of curious. All right, hold on.
Come on, son. They got me fucked up. You racist, give me this. You racist, you going on Facebook. Racist ass. You going on Facebook. How you going?
See, look at that. And then also,
Yeah, I said it.
yeah, that's her right there saying, yeah, I said it. That is the go back to Mexico stuff. So this lady has main character syndrome. Absolutely. All right. And that's what I'm talking about here. So when we go back over to this article and they're talking about how Gen Z is going, more times than any other demographic. And they say, oh, but it's only 7 times a year. We can start to really figure out exactly what is going on here. It's that people are going to the theaters, but they have to deal with the general public. And I agree that the theaters need more security rational and that they need to have a strict no phone policy. But you also have to remember that it's like this is the general public. Okay. This is what's known as like I think it's called a public accommodation, meaning that like you have to have it open to the public. Okay. This happened a couple of years ago, back in 2017, when there was going to be a woman only Wonder Woman screening in New York. And there was a big like fervor about that. And as a result of that, like they were in violation of like the public accommodations rule, whatever it's called. I think underneath, I forget which act it's under, but they were definitely in violation if they were trying to block anyone based upon gender of coming in to see that movie. So it was all a marketing gimmick for the theater, but it was largely stupid. So when you have people that are going to the cinemas and you have people that are acting like this, it's going to keep people from going. And if Gen Zers are looking at this as a social activity, boomers and Gen Xers are going to prioritize home theater systems, 4K, high sound, good sound, and all of that kind of stuff. All right. And so, even though right now studio or theaters are having trouble getting people back to the theater, they're still down like over 20% before COVID. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. But this is one of those situations to where they're trying to more or less gaslight you into believing that these guys are actually like going to the theaters pretty often when 7 times a year is most likely around studio blockbusters. Like I said, around like March and April in the springtime, you have your summer months, maybe have October, and then you have November, December, and then you maybe have January, depending on the horror film that is coming out. So again, it's one of those ideas here that we have to just kind of remember what exactly is going on. But there is then something happening, which I find to be kind of fascinating. You've got Ryan Coogler and a few other people like Emma Thomas and Jerry Bruckheimer have now decided that they wanted to form a council. And this council is basically dedicated to the future of cinema. And this is basically Cinema United, a trade association representing global movie theaters. They've launched their Filmmaker Leadership Council, right? Their Filmmaker Leadership Council that are trying to get more people. They got Brad Bird, Jason Reitman, and Celine Song on board, trying to get theaters to be a bit better, right? Get the fuck out of there. I don't care about that shit. All right. So a coalition of filmmakers are united to champion the future of cinema worldwide. Cinema United confirmed today that the formation of a Filmmaker Leadership Council that will provide meaningful support for theatrical exhibition. It will be, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? Meaningful support. Okay. It is a core purpose to give, I'm just kind of looking at my notes here. It's an initiative aimed to give top tier creators a direct, unified voice in the theatrical business and facilitate close collaboration with theater exhibitors is kind of like the fucking corporate speak for saying that, right? So anyway, the council will work with Cinema United to provide vital feedback and recommendations on the most pressing issues facing theatrical exhibition today, such as consolidation, windows, promotion, marketing, innovation, and technology. Notice how they haven't said anything about price. Notice that. You ever notice that whenever this conversation comes up, that 5-letter word is never at all in any way fucking uttered? Not once is that word ever fucking uttered. They never talk about the price of it. Now, I know Regal and Cinemark and AMC all got their fucking movie club shit. Okay. And I know that some smaller theater chains in the Midwest, the flyover states, might be a little bit cheaper than living in the main population centers. But it doesn't really matter. The idea there is you want to lower the price to get more people in the door. This is a working man's art form, a working man's exhibition. That is exactly what it needs to be treated as. But so many fucking people choose to just treat theaters like it's this criticism-free location that is just at the whim of the studios and not at all in their own particular environment of being the ones to run all this shit. And I understand that they are up against a lot. Make no mistake about that. You obviously have a situation where you've got theaters are currently trying to withstand the recovery of COVID, the proliferation of streaming, and the fact that movies have shorter windows. They're trying to get as many butts in seats as quickly as they can in order to make as much money as they can in order to then be able to, continue staying afloat. But again, gimmicky prices, gimmicky everything is a big problem. All right. And so I don't quite know how I feel about this. Okay. So it says here, this is from Bruckheimer, movies that captivate audiences and take their breath away. That's why so many of us got into this business in the first place. There's nothing like that feeling of sitting in a dark theater, the sound washing over you, watching something unfold on a massive screen that you simply cannot replicate anywhere else. As filmmakers, we pour everything we have into creating those moments. We are at a defining point in the future of this industry, and I'm honored to join this incredible group of filmmakers and work alongside Cinema United to ensure the experience. Okay, again, it's like there's an M dash. It's probably ChatGPT. Anyway, Emma Thomas says there's a profound cultural value in gathering together with a group of strangers and connecting while experiencing something special on the big screen. That shared moment, the laughter, the tears, the collective intake of breath is irreplaceable. That is what this is about, making sure that cinemas of all sizes around the world can continue to present our stories in the best possible setting so movie fans of all ages can enjoy them as they were intended to be seen. Again, not addressing the price. Okay, not addressing the price. Now, we might learn more about this come CinemaCon in a couple of days. I think that's next week. All right. But, one of the things we have to really talk about here is just kind of how these creatives view the theatrical experience. Now, one person that I've always felt was on the side of the working class, was on the side of people, who were all in on this stuff, would be someone like Tarantino. And he's got this particular profanity-laden speech, which I making most of, but not all of. So let's see what he has to say.
Well, what the fuck is a movie now? Okay, what the fuck is a movie? Now what? Something that plays in theaters for a token release for 4 fucking weeks. All right, and by the second week you can watch it on television. I didn't get into all this for diminishing returns. I mean, it was bad enough in '97. All right, I mean not in '97. It was bad enough in 2019, and that was the last fucking year of movies. All right, and that was a shit deal as far as I was concerned. The fact that it's gotten drastically worse and that it's a show pony exercise now, the theatrical release. And then in 2 weeks you can watch it on this one and that one. Okay, theater? You can't do that. Theater? Yeah, they pay a lot of fucking money to get in that seat. But there's no fucking taping it. There's no fucking cell phones. Hello, everybody with a cell phone. Okay. There's no fucking cell phones. You own the audience for that time, for that for that moment, they are all yours. They are in the palm of your hand. And it's not just about doing art. It's about wowing them. It's about giving them a great night out. They've made it worth it for them. Now that to me is fucking exciting.
Great. I completely agree with him, except again, one thing. Where is that whole bit about this is a working man's art form? He said that before. And I'm going to hold him to that one right now. Working man's art form. Lower the fucking prices. All right. He's talking about the amount of money that pays out to the filmmakers to go to the theaters, or, you know, what they get from the box office, how much it costs to go to the theaters, and how fast they are on home video. Those are all valid concerns. But again, what the fuck is about the audience first? All right. The audience first. I completely understand that moment of having them locked and loaded for that moment of time. They are in the palm of your hand. You control everything they see and they hear, and hopefully that they feel. That is entirely up to you as the filmmaker. Completely understand that. But as we just showed, they do not give a fuck about the etiquette. Okay. They do not give a fuck about the etiquette. All right. If Gen Zers are going, they are there as a social activity. They want to be on their phone. They want to chit chat during the movie. They don't actually give a shit about what they're watching. It's just cheaper than going and getting a dinner and a drink. It's not an exhibition for storytelling. It is an exhibition to get people to go and maybe leave their fucking house. That is what it's being treated as. And I'm tired of these fucking people. Really, really fucking tired of these people. Going and just kind of absolutely missing the point of fucking all of this shit, right? They're missing the point of all of this shit, because I'm going to show you guys this. All right. So let me bring this up here. Hold on a second. Where am I at? Okay. I still want to dox myself, but anyway. All right. Okay. Damn it. That's not correct. All right. I'll show you guys. Okay. It's all good. Okay. So here's this video from Facebook. All right. Of Chicken Jockey celebration in the Minecraft movie. This is from about a year ago. Okay. A little less than a year ago. Actually, no, it was about a year ago when Minecraft came out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They're out there doing this. This wasn't just fucking like one theater that was doing this. This was a lot of theaters that were doing this. Okay. Let me see if I can find this one here. Here we go. All right. Jumping over here. This is Regal. 4XD Minecraft movie Chicken Jockey screening in 3D. This was April 20th, 2025. They were advocating for people to show up and literally trash a theater. This is what they were advocating for a year ago. Okay. And you want me to sit there and feel fucking bad for the filmmakers that are upset that their movies are coming and going out of theaters? You want me to feel bad that these are not being exhibited in the way that they want, when you've got these companies that aren't even really working to make the experience better for the user or for the customer or for the audience? That instead of trying to like make it optimal positions for people to actually enjoy what it is that they're fucking watching, that they're pushing for these screenings and these events where they know that they'll be filmed and they'll go viral on TikTok, and then people might go talk about them and they might show up, and then they want to go and they want to replicate that themselves. All right. To be fair, the Chicken Jockey meme pushed the film to 1 billion. Yes, I know, but at what cost? That's what I'm talking about, Rational. At what cost did it push that movie to $1 billion? All right. There's been times where I think it was either Regal or AMC that was talking about building and turning the back seat of a movie theater into a cell phone zone. They were going to have like soundproof glass so people could talk on their phones, do whatever the fuck they wanted, and it would not bother anybody else. They were legitimately talking about doing that. AMC has talked about having tiered pricing systems in order to then have the best seats in the house available for those who are willing to pay the premium on a screening. Cinemark has now added D-Box seats in a number of their auditoriums in their prime seating locations, forcing you to get the best seat in the house at a fucking premium. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. They are doing this to themselves. And I do not have a fucking modicum of sympathy for them in this regard. The way I'm looking at it right now is if you're not going to serve the customer, and let me just, if you're wondering where this ire is coming from, okay, let me fucking explain this shit. In the summer of 1998, I worked my very first movie theater job as a doorman at the Act 3 Theater in Tigard, Oregon. In 2001, I started working on June 15th, 2001, the opening night of goddamn Tomb Raider at the Santee Drive-In in Santee, California, and I worked there until the beginning of March 10th, 2010, when Alice in Wonderland opened. For those years that I was there, I was not only a manager for the most part of that shit, but I was also the head of the fucking lot, which means that we were operating during the summer by having 1,000+ cars every single night and 4,000 to 6,000 people every single night. And it would be me and like a few other guys that were in charge of running that entire fucking place and making sure that it was going and that it was smooth and that everybody had a good time. And I always put the customer experience first because I know that they're the ones that pay my fucking bills. That's what I'm talking about here. And when I went to LA and I was working at the Regency Academy 6 in Pasadena for the 13 months I was there, I watched my fucking idiot of a boss just bend over backwards in order to appease the lady that we watched earlier. Because God forbid any of these fucking disruptive assholes are meant to feel uncomfortable for their actions. So when it comes to the theatrical experience, I put that shit high on my list of goddamn fucking priorities because I know what it's like for a working fucking family to go to a theater on a weekend to want to watch a movie, to get away, to unwind, to escape, and then to be bothered by the miscreants who do not value the same experience and want to ruin it for everybody else simply because they fucking can. And now in this particular case, it goes for the theaters being apathetic, the studios putting out less good content, right? Shoveling as much shit as they can. It's not that all the movies are bad, but let's be real here. There's a fair amount of these paint by numbers fucking committee made films that are absolutely out there trying to make sure that like you have a bad time at the fucking theater. When all I'm saying is lower the fucking prices and put your customers fucking first. That's it. That's it. The people who work there, they make minimum wage and they get treated like shit. And it's not just by the customers, it's by corporate too. So I am entirely for burning that system to the goddamn ground if they're not going to get their shit in check. And so, yes, I'm a proponent of physical media. Yes, I'm a proponent of streaming. Yes, I'm a proponent of theaters. I'm a proponent of watching these stories because we fucking love them. Love them. I'm against the chuds that want to tear everything down because it features a woman or a goddamn minority. Anything that disrupts their comfort from a fucking social level, from their fucking room. And let's be real, most of the time these guys pirate everything anyway. So it's like, you know, whatever. It's like back when Midnight's Edge was first covering Star Trek Discovery and shitting on it. I made one joke in their chat about them bootlegging it, and they lost their collective shit because they didn't want anyone to know they were doing it. Everyone fucking does it. That's not even the issue here. But these guys are set out to ruin the movies that you watch, not necessarily the experience because they don't really go that often. So as movie fans, we have to understand that you're being attacked from both sides, from all sides. You're getting squeezed out by streamers. You're getting fed shit by the fucking studios who do paint by numbers because they want to appease everybody instead of actually focusing on niche content, which will then find an audience. And then you're getting hit by these fucking wannabe fucking conservative influencers that are trying to tell you everything is woke and everything is terrible. Like they're all fucking just anti-SJW versions of Anita fucking Sarkeesian. And that's what's going on with all that shit. So yeah, I'm sorry. Fix your shit or lose it. And that's where we are with that. But we are in there is another thing I want to touch upon before we dive into the fucking videos. And that, of course, is Avatar. Avatar cannot catch a fucking break, dude. I swear to you. I know, right? It's the number 1 and number 3 highest grossing film of all time. And I'm like, I can't catch a fucking break, yo. An article popped up today on The Wrap talking about how when 1.4 billion isn't enough, Avatar sequels under the microscope as Disney weighs the franchise's future. Yeah, so between the 3 movies, we're talking well over $6 billion. I'm going to assume things are fine. Things are probably on the okay side. But one of the biggest problems with all of that is that there's a perception that this is somehow a flop of a movie because it didn't hit the 2.9 billion that the first movie did, which, by the way, it didn't hit that right away. It edged up to that over time. And then also the 2.3 billion that Avatar: The Way of Water did a couple years ago. Well, here, I hate to break it to you guys. I really do. I hate to be that guy. Okay. But Avatar: The Way of Water and Avatar: Fire and Ash are part 1 and part 2 of the same fucking story. And now I will absolutely say that you can criticize James Cameron and Disney, okay, for not marketing it as such, which they should have. But the media literacy surrounding the Avatar films is as retarded as Corky from Life Goes On. I mean, I would rather Corky from Life Goes On handle the marketing of these movies rather than what we've seen coming out of Disney, because there is a lot of problems that they had with this movie in regards of trying to like sell it as a continuation of that story that was set up in Way of Water. And the fact that it deals with loss and grief and family and found family and honor and morality and all these fucking themes that Cameron wrestles with in these fucking movies, right? But they're lost on people who refuse to interact with them as they are presented, which is kind of weird. So that's why right now what we're looking at is this whole article here about what's going on. So anyway, it says here, backstage at the Saturn Awards held on March 8th. James Cameron, who picked up trophies for Best Direction, Best Screenwriting, and Best Science Fiction Film for Avatar: Fire and Ash, was asked about how the response to this latest installment would influence the next film. And he says, to be perfectly clear, we haven't even made a decision if we're going forward right now. But I should do that. I'd say that's likely, but not 100%. But we will learn lessons from all 3 films. Now, a lot of people are looking at this and going like, well, this obviously means that the amount of money that they made wasn't enough to warrant the cost of the movie. Well, there's another factor here that a lot of people aren't even talking about. And that factor has a lot to do with the fact that John Landau, Cameron's, I don't want to say his best friend, but definitely up there, very good pal, maybe like second BFF, if not his actual BFF, and the producer of Avatar: Way of Water, and our fan favorite Alita Battle Angel passed away during the post-production of Avatar: Fire and Ash. And I have a feeling that has a lot to do with it. Okay. I have a feeling that's what's going on, is that they want to do these movies, but James Cameron is 71 years old. And does he want to spend the next 6-7 years getting these final 2 movies done in order to move on to something else? And he probably has a lot more stories that he wants to tell. So I could see him turning this over to a director. However, Terminator Dark Fate's Tim Miller and him had such a tumultuous relationship while making that movie, which is, by the way, completely underrated. Terminator Dark Fate was actually a fucking really good movie that people just wanted to jump on for being woke because it had a lady in it. And that ended up being something that I think ultimately kind of damaged the franchise. And it's one of those ones that I don't think it should come back for a while. The same goes to Star Trek, actually. But that's where we are when it comes to Avatar. All right. Now, going on here, says these conversations are happening, and Cameron, who initially plotted a vast 5-film saga, is questioning whether the franchise will continue after the latest release. Amassed $1.4 billion is surprising. After all, the first Avatar, released in 2009, is the highest grossing film of all time with more than $2.9 billion worldwide. The second one obviously has done well, $2.3 billion. Cameron is responsible for 3 of the 5 highest grossing films of all time. And there's a lavish, highly interactive Avatar-themed land at Disney's Animal Kingdom, part of the sprawling Walt Disney World complex outside of Orlando. The people visit Pandora every day. But Avatar: Fire and Ash is still registering for some as a disappointment. Its box office tally is massive in a vacuum, but looks less impressive when compared to Zootopia 2, which made more than $1.8 billion. Zootopia 2 was a great fucking movie. And it was a great movie. It was a great kids film, a great family movie. And again, like Avatar Fire and Ash made $1 billion less than Avatar The Way of Water released just 3 years earlier. It had a budget of $350 million with an additional $150 million marketing spend. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing with this. We have to remember this, okay? Avatar Fire and Ash and Avatar Way of Water, and also 22% of Avatar 4 were all filmed back to back to back. So that's 2 movies and 1 quarter, roughly. Okay, filmed back to back to back. They share very similar production costs, very similar to what Peter Jackson did by filming the Lord of the Rings franchise back to back to back. Yes, there was expenses, but it wasn't as much as it could have been because they shot everything back to back to back. So that's something that a lot of people aren't ever talking about. Additionally, the $150 million marketing spend is entirely tax write-offable. So a lot of people are trying to make the argument here when it comes to Avatar that it should just be over with number 3. And the way number 3 ended did ultimately feel like it could have been an ending, right? It felt like it could have been an ending, but there's definitely more to the fucking story. And I think people out there want more of it, but what can they do to make it better? Have it be cheaper? Have it be shorter? Yeah, sure. Have it be a standalone movie and not part 1 of 2 parts? Do better to market the part 1 of 2 parts? I don't quite know. Anything could really work. People like the experience. They obviously like the world of Pandora and they obviously like the characters, but they don't engage with it in a way that is going to make it out to be something that is I think that is what it is. I think they're not engaging with it on the level that Cameron is putting it down. Like they look at it as being cartoonish. They devalue it because it's cartoonish, because of the visual effects. They overlook the fact that Zoe Saldana gives an amazing performance in all of the movies, especially Way of Water and Fire and Ash. When she goes fucking full ham, that is some some worthy acting. And I would make the argument that she was given the Oscar for Emilia Perez more so for Avatar than that. But they don't honor it in the way that they should. They don't honor it as being the technological breakthrough that it is. They want to approach it on a surface level, and I think that does a disservice to what James Cameron has been working on, which is why I do think that ultimately the media illiteracy surrounding Avatar is what's holding its back. And that is very much on people who are unwilling to acknowledge it for what it is at the time it comes out. Now, what I think is going to happen is when Avatar, because now it's available on digital, so you can buy it. The 4K comes out next month, which I'll be getting. And then the movie will probably hit Disney Plus on June. And when it hits Disney Plus in June, you're going to see some massive fucking numbers coming up. That's what I think is going to be happening with that. As I said, don't bet against James Cameron, but a lot of people like to. And I think they do it because they're told to more so than anything else. And that's really sad to me. That's really, really sad to me. These movies are not that hard to follow, but they are very thematically rich. They are very character driven. And if you saw Fire and Ash, there's no person I think who saw Fire and Ash that didn't walk out of there going like, man, I would love a Jake and Quaritch team up movie. That'd be fucking based. Because Cameron has a way of making you care about even the bad guys. He's really good at that. And he's cooking hard with these movies, and I want to see him finish them. I just wish people would fucking treat them for what they are, rather than what they're told that they are. So, all right. Thank you for that, guys. Let's dive a couple super chats here to get into, and then we'll get into the chud shit. All right. First up here, this is for 5. Thank you. Arcane and K-pop Demon Hunters prove you can make new stuff just as long as it's written well, or at least not treating its audience like children. I mean, I haven't seen Arcane, but I hear it's really good. I hear the animation is good, and I hear that it's worth watching. I need to give it a watch. And then, of course, you got K-pop Demon Hunters, which is got a great soundtrack. That was a big part of it too. Same with like Encanto. Great soundtrack. Got you into it. And through the soundtrack, you got more of the themes of the film. Right? If you go and you watch K-pop Demon Hunters and you look at the soundtrack and you look at the songs that they're singing and the context of which they're singing it, you start to realize like where the hunters are, where Huntrix is at the beginning of the movie versus the end of the movie. There's like that shifting that happens with their characters, and that is all done through song, especially Rumi. It's really, really well done stuff. Mo here for 2. Thank you, buddy. Says, here's my late fee. Be kind and rewind. Yes, thank you. Be kind and rewind. Ah, the good old days. The fucking good old days. Let's see. H-Bart's dropping one here. What are your thoughts on Tarantino talking about theaters? Are you talking about that little video clip I played? I think, he's right about them being being there for a captive audience, but what he's wrong about, again, or what he's not mentioning, is the cost of admission. Like when I went to go see Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair a couple months ago, there was maybe like 10 people in the theater, and we would chit chat in the intermission and whatnot, but everyone was there for the same reason. Everyone was there to enjoy it because they loved that movie. And maybe that's what theaters become. Maybe they become an exhibition for older films. Maybe films will start going to streaming first, and then films after that will end up going to theaters if they warrant it enough. Maybe they have to kind of like, maybe you start treating streaming like it's the minors, right? And you got to like build up that player, and then you take them to the majors and see how well it does. Rather than the inverse, which is all that money spent on marketing, it being a bit of a crapshoot, whether or not the movie's going to do well, and whether or not it's going to be, bogged down by people online, or bogged down by critics, or bogged down by whatever. Because you can never really determine what's going to happen that's going to keep a movie from becoming the best picture, right? Like going back to the Oscars, for example, I think that Sinners was probably going to be the best picture, even though I don't agree with that as the choice. But when Renee Good and Alex Preddy were shot and killed in Minnesota in early this year, at that point, given the context of what One Battle After Another is about, at that point, that movie became the front runner, and it ultimately won. And I think it ultimately won because of what happened in Minnesota. Had it not been for Minnesota, it would have been close, but I think the Academy would have probably succumbed to the pressure that was surrounding Ryan Coogler and everyone involved in Sinners, and just given it to that. But I think what happened politically changed things. Anyway, also thank you. Says, yesterday said Nolan does not respect film goers, and you're correct. Remember, he left Warner Brothers because of COVID. Yes, also another thing worth pointing out. Christopher Nolan fucking sucks, bro. Like, he fucking sucks when it comes to fucking theater goers. I'm sorry, he does. All these people fucking just glob his knob. They just fucking tickle his balls and fucking just lick the tip. And the reason why they do is because he's Nolan. But yeah, thank you, HR, for bringing that up. Let's go all the way back to 2020 for a hot second. Okay. Jason Kilar, overseeing Warner Brothers at the time. Again, everyone gives this dude shit, but he's been proven right more and more and more and more. Jason Kilar, like completely stuck on the idea of like, what do? We have a global pandemic. Everyone is at home. They're not going to the theaters. We got to find a way to, get HBO Max going. We got to find a way to do all this stuff. And so Christopher Nolan basically forces Warner Brothers to make Tenet the canary in the coal mine for theaters. And it failed miserably. Not only that, but also Mulan. In fact, it would have been better for Warner Brothers and Nolan ultimately if it would have been Mulan that was the canary in the coal mine, but it was Tenet. And after that, movie theaters were just empty for months and months and months and months and months. And so Nolan got mad at Warner Brothers. He was furious at Warner Brothers for all of that bullshit that he forced them to do. And then got mad and went to Universal. Now, granted, he did make Oppenheimer for $100 million, which did go and win. It almost made $1 billion, and it won Best Picture. He won Best Director. So like at the end of the day, like that decision worked out well for him. But let's make no mistake about just who and what Christopher Nolan is in regards to fans. Okay, like that's what it is. That's what it boils down to. All right, H-Bar's here for 10. Thank you, buddy. He says, why are our directors obsessed with movie theaters? Most people have the best experience at home watching film like my parents and want to rewatch Fire and Ash in comfortable chairs, unlike IMAX. It's because it's what they grew up with. It is, right? I did the same thing. I remember going to the theater because it's an experience. It's a religious experience. It's church for many of us. So you go to the theater, you sit down, the lights go down, right? The screen brightens up. You're watching the trailers. You're looking to see what's coming. You're getting excited. It's getting you, comfortable to the seat, comfortable to the surroundings. You got your drink, you got your popcorn, you got your friends or whatever. Maybe you're on a date. Maybe you're with your parents. And then all of a sudden, man, the fucking the movie starts. And then you're on a whirlwind adventure for the next couple fucking hours. And everyone there, like Tarantino says, is captivated by what they're seeing. You are the palm in their hand, right? They are in the palm of your hand. And as a result of that, they want to see their stories up there. They want to see their stories up there. And I completely understand and I completely get it. All right. I do. I do. Like it completely, it completely did all that. Like I get it. Let me see here if I can find it. Okay. I'm going to show you guys something, not the whole thing, but I'm going to show you guys why that is a thing. Okay. So, this is from, if I can bring it up here, I gotta locate it. I've shown it before, but it's been a hot minute. Where is it at? No, that was, oh, come on. That was 2007. This is 2008. Fuck me. There it is. Okay. So this is a short film that I wrote in 2007 called Crew. And this is for the 48-hour film festival in San Diego. Okay. And so I'm in the theater. This we gotta understand. We did this with full theater, packed theater, and we screened this in front of a couple hundred people. And I brought my camera to bootleg it, right? And so this is, we shot this outside of my house in San Diego. By the way, real quick, this actor right here with the hat, if anyone here has ever seen Naruto, the anime, this actor is Skip Skelricht. He's the voice of Guy Sensei. Hung out with him all day. Real cool guy. So let's kind of skip ahead. Okay. So I'm just going to show you guys kind of like the climax here. These guys are all road crew workers that are kind of, on disability and can't do anything too much. And that's kind of where the climax gets to.
I'm going into a spiral down.
Here. Okay.
Not legal. Hey, Bob, you want to grab that necessary tool? Hey, I'll get it. Whoa. Keep that thing away from me. It's just a shovel. Bob, the three of us are on limited duty because of injuries on the job, and we're not legally able to lift anything more than 40 ounces. It's just a shovel. If that shovel comes anywhere near us, one of us could go into post-traumatic shock. We're going into a spiral down into self-pity and depression because we want to be able to exercise our God-given American right to earn an honest living. And then it would cause us to go into endless years of therapy and counseling, and then we'd have to take several kinds of prescription drugs. And it would end up costing taxpayers money. Chuck. $1,900,000. I was trying to say is that any of us touch that show, the terrorists win.
Okay, so that's like the climax of the short. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is because I wrote this whole story. I wrote this whole short. Those are all my jokes. That whole build up right there, everything was something I wrote the night before in a fucking flurry to get it done to film the next morning. And those guys, they did a great job for what they got, for shooting it quick. The editing was done overnight. It was done very well. You heard the crowd reaction to that. Okay. You heard the crowd reaction. That to me is why I wanted to do it. That solidified right there my desire to write movies and to eventually go to LA, which I did a couple years later. And now that didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but I still, in this moment right here, in July of 2007. I was sitting in a crowded theater full of my peers in San Diego watching this thing that I wrote. And I won best writer for the competition, and everybody laughed. People walked out of the theater and they were like, "Oh God, that was so funny." And it turned out well. And so this is my passion. Yeah, the passion of Jarbo. This is my passion. This is the kind of shit. I get it. This is why you want it. This is right here. Bootlegging my own fucking short film. But I can show you this 19 years later and be like, this was the audience reaction in that moment. We had them in the palm of our hand. And this is why theaters ultimately matter. And so this is another reason why I understand why these filmmakers want to get more butts in seats. I understand why they want to do all this. But it boils down to still the aspect of cost and the experience. So they're coming at it through the lens of what we're looking at right here. The audience reaction, the audience loving it, the audience doing everything that they did. They built this up. They build those scenarios to get that kind of reaction. But what they never talk about is exactly right. It needs to be cheaper. It needs to be cheaper. And they need to have more restrictions in place to not just let anybody do anything that they want. And that's the truth of it. That is the absolute fucking truth of it. Now, if you guys, I'll be nice. If you guys want to see this short, I'll post the link right there in the chat. And we'll go from there. But thank you for that. Okay, H Bars here real quick says, I'm not against theaters either. I personally usually have the best experience at home, and it's not streaming. I buy my films. I get that. I love sitting at home with my headphones on, watching on my big screen TV. The other night, again, when I was watching Avatar: The Way of Water with my 8-year-old, and halfway through the movie, she just kind of looks at me and goes, she goes, Dad, I love watching movies with you. That is the other factor of that as well, right? There is a commonality, a love. There's a love of the cinema, a love of the arts, a love of all of it. That I think, even though I'm cynical, I think that love is something that very much comes through and has come through for quite some fucking time. And so when I criticize the people that I'm going to criticize, you have to understand those 106 of you that are here. You have to understand that my criticism has very little to do with their personal politics, of which I very much disagree with, but more for how I view them as being a vex, being a poison on the soul of what I fucking love, on the very soul of my being, what I have gone to school for, what I went to LA for, what I have fucking tried for and lost, to be fair. But I've never, ever, 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 ever tried to tear down an industry that I love because I love it. And these guys do not love it. They treat you all like you're retarded. They treat you like you're insipid children being told a lesson. They have nothing for you but contempt, and they act as such. And I say this, and I use this metaphor. Why would you trust somebody who has never picked up a wrench to fix your plumbing? You wouldn't. So why listen to these people who have, in most cases, never picked up a fucking camera, never picked up a pencil, never opened up Final Draft, never done anything to work on these things that they claim to love but so viciously hate? Yes, I might be cynical towards a lot of the business because it's the business. But at no point in time do I hate this business. I criticize it because I want it to be better for everyone. I want it to be better for everyone and our children and our grandchildren to be able to go and enjoy these things that we love. There's a difference between me and them. That has never changed. It will never fucking change. And I will go toe to fucking toe with any one of these troglodytic motherfuckers any point in time. And I'll fucking destroy them, demolish any talking point they have. Because one thing that I have got that they don't have, and I will fucking stand on this laurel, is I've got fucking experience. And I have got fucking life skills in this shit. And I've been knee deep in the fucking shit. And I've seen it firsthand, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I don't need to fucking sit there from the fucking depths of the swamps of ass fucking Florida and talk to you about what's woke and what's DEI or whatever the fuck. I can tell you firsthand how this shit fucking works. And that's the difference between someone like me and someone like them. So take it for what you fucking will. But if anything, I've got the one thing they don't. And that's I still have a fuck ton of passion for this shit. Because this is my heart and soul. And it's something that I love the fact right now that I get to share this with my kids. And I get to bring them up on the movies that I love. And I get to share with them what I was raised on. And they can share with me what they like. And we can form the bonds together to further strengthen our fucking family. Because imagine if I was to sit there and just go after fucking Captain Marvel for being a whammon. And then go and look at my 8-year-old and 6-year-old daughter and want them to be strong, confident, capable women to handle the fucking world. And I tell them that while deep down, without their knowledge, I'm going on the internet and I'm saying basically the exact opposite. That would make me a hypocrite and a liar. And I'm many things. I'm many things, but that I'm not. All right, real quick here. H-Bart, thank you. My dad said my mom and him used to see a movie every week before I was born in theaters, but now they only go with me to see big films, little ones they wait at home. I mean, that's also kind of a part of life. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of a part of life. Thank you for that, by the way. But that is a factor that a lot of people kind of have to remember, is that the factor of life is, you end up going and, life changes. You have responsibilities. You've got this, you've got that, you've got the other. And that's kind of how a lot of this shit plays out. So anyway, all right, why don't we dive in to the main events of the fucking night? Because obviously, obviously, but I want to start with the one. Let me get this ready to go here. Okay, so it's long awaited return. Chud Watch.
Chud Watch.
All right, so why don't we start off tonight by talking about these people. So this is side scrollers. I will admit I don't have much experience with side scrollers, but the reason why I'm bringing them up is because a lot of people were really mad at me. Oh, Lordy. So many people were super mad, big mad at little old me, because I said I wasn't going to go see Project Hail Mary because of Andy Weir's association with Critical Drinker. And we're going to talk a lot about Critical Drinker tonight, just so you guys know. Okay. And so these guys are talking about me. Can't quite say I know really who any one of them are. I know there's the guy on the right there is Stuttering Meg. He looks like a Meg. I know his name is Craig, but he looks like a Meg. Then you got the middle there, fucking Vera Dark. Recognize her, with a bad dye job. And I don't know who anyone else is. They all look fucking miserable, though. They all look fucking miserable. That's the funny thing with a lot of these guys is they always look miserable and they sound miserable. Where's the love, right? Where's the joy? That's my question. So anyway, this is them talking about, we're not going to do the whole fucking thing, but they bring me up. And I figured we'd be talking about this. Yeah, we're gonna look at the Red video too. So again, this is my first experience with these guys, but all I hear about them is that they suck. And let's see what we got here. Hold on, I want to kind of see what they've got. Oh, they talk about me for a bit. Ooh, there we go. This ought to be good. This ought to be fun.
coming from this guy. I don't know who he is, and honestly, it's not even important. And I don't want to give him any publicity, so I won't.
Okay, I know we're 8 seconds in. They don't know who I am. They don't want to give me any publicity. This is a fucking 19-minute, 44-second video. We're not going to do the whole fucking thing. I just like to kind of point that out. They would not be where they are without someone like me. I just need to remind people of that. All right. Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, all those fucking people would not be where they are without me. That is just the fucking truth of it. That ain't ego. That's reality. I'm sorry. Okay. A lot of this shit, I kicked this shit off a fucking decade ago, over a decade ago. All right. And they wonder, I think in this one, they ponder my politics. Again, I'll talk about that when the time comes. It's pretty funny though, because it should be pretty ridiculous. Let's keep going.
But this guy said, "Sorry, Phil Lord and Chris Miller. I cannot in good conscience support."
Wait. Did they block my fucking name? They blocked my fucking name? Are you fucking the next segment here, the next chapter is literally who am I? It's literally who am I? Like, who is Matt Jarbo? Motherfucking G-Dog of the West Side, bitch.
Project Hail Mary after Andy Weir went on stream with noted chud Critical Drinker.
Because he doesn't know to chud.
For years, this man tried to destroy everything that you guys stand for.
Yep.
And to give him a pass like this is a bridge too far.
Goddamn fucking right.
Of course, Matt Jarbo would be the one saying it.
Yeah. I was going to say, we're not mentioning him, but I know him.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, they fucking know me. Oh, yeah. Love the attention, folks. It actually makes my nips so hard they cut fucking glass. Jesus Christ. Oh, I love it. Of course, it's Matt Jarbo. Fuck. This is the thing. I've been irrelevant for years. I make one comment. They lose their shit. You know what that means? I'm right over the fucking target. All right. If I'm going to quote one of the other chuds, I need this one for any. If I'm going to quote one of the other chuds, whenever this kind of shit pops up, it just generally means this.
Fuck you, I was right. Fuck you, I was right. Fuck you, I was right.
It's true. It's fucking true. It's a fuck you, I was right moment. If they're going to dedicate 19 minutes. Oh my God, it's Matt Jarbo, the fucking Gamergator. Holy fucking shit, you guys. I can't fucking believe it. Oh my God, it's Jarbo. Yep. Absolutely, bitch. Fucking remember my goddamn name. I guarantee you know more about me than I know about you. I guarantee it. I just know you have a bad fucking dye job. That's what I know.
Oh,
Mundane Matt.
Mundane.
Since we are mentioning him, let's actually give him a little spotlight here. All
Wait,
right?
hold on. We're not even 45 seconds in. Craig is like, I don't want to give him any attention. I don't want to give him any attention, you guys. We can't give him any attention. Okay, that's not no, we have everything already ready to go. Oh no, let's find out who he is. Oh no, this is fucking talk about it because we're saying his name. Oh God, he's the fucking boogeyman. I'm sorry, like I've never watched their show before. I already feel like just like I've lost fucking intelligence points from this shit. Because again, like, don't know who the fuck any of them are outside of Verox. I just recognized the harpy from the thumbnails. Oh no, sorry, that's Mecha Random. They all kind of look alike to me. Pale white women with fucking like dyed red hair. All kind of look the same. But then you've got Craig. I don't fucking know. What didn't he just do like some Oh God, yeah. Yo, right. These are the fuckers that wanted to do the real Game Awards, you guys. Oh, the real Game Awards. You can't have the Jeff Keighley stuff. No, they got to do the real one. Didn't they like rent a bar or something last year? It was a complete fucking mess. They just did it again. I just looked this right. I did just see this the other day. They did just do another Game Awards, and it was like again, it was cringe as fuck. They got a fucking VTuber up there. Jesus Christ, a VTuber. Look, you could call me pathetic for a lot of things, but being a VTuber, oh God, I wouldn't even fucking stoop that goddamn low.
Who is this guy?
Yeah, who am I?
And what did he do?
Yeah, who am I? What did I do?
Mundane Matt is a piece of trash, and he false flagged
That
other
is true.
creators.
I did do
He
that stupidly.
Constantly tries to stir the pot
Nope,
to gain
not
a
true.
little bit of attention.
Nope.
On
Actually, I'll tell you this. I'm actually doing this now because of this shit. Because you fuckers drug me back in. Because you keep making me out to be more relevant than I am. That's the whole point. You keep making me out to be more relevant than I am. I'm nobody. I was just like talking about fucking movies and shit. I got a little ticked off on Twitter. Okay, over the fucking I don't like the chuds. I say one thing and you all lose your shit. That's how you know I'm over the target. But I'm a piece of trash. Sure, Jan. All right. How are the cats? I hope they're well. Do you feed them enough when you're out of town? Hopefully they don't shit everywhere.
Social media. He's a loser, plain and simple.
Right. Okay. Vera, own my own home. Work a job I love. I have 2 fucking beautiful daughters, and I've been in a 17-year relationship. I'm just going to guess, based upon the color dye of your hair, the paleness of your skin, and the ineffectiveness of your attitude, that you have none of those things. I said maybe cats, and I'm not knocking cats. I love cats. But to call me a loser is kind of really ironic coming from someone like you. Okay. Again, you don't mean anything to anyone outside of your circle. The fact that I say one thing and you lose your shit puts me above you. This is very true.
Well, he's not doing very well.
I'm fine.
According to his YouTube channel. And I do that.
I love this. I did live stream. How often do I do live streams? Right? I just do live streams and shit. And YouTube's been deprioritizing that for a long fucking time. I also work a full-time job and I'm not able to stream every fucking day. This is the thing. They're going to look at this surface level and they're going to criticize on surface level without understanding anything. And that's perfectly fine.
Strictly based off of data right here.
Yeah, look at the data.
31,000 subscribers over on X with literally dozens of viewers.
I mean, all things considered, again, this is YouTube, not X, Craig. I thought you of everybody would understand the difference between platforms, I guess, but okay.
When it comes to this, which I'm
the
not
modern audience showed up to support him with that viewership. That's great.
I think that's it. His audience is the modern audience over here. So
I don't do this full time anymore, man. I don't do this full time. Like I said, I have a job that I work for like 4, 10 to 12-hour shifts. I make a lot more money now than I did on YouTube. I do this shit for fucking fun. But see, this is what these guys can never understand. And that's what they always have to go back to. Right. That's what they always have to go back to is they live in this world of where if you're not doing this as well as they are. Okay. Right. If you are not doing it like them, if you're not doing it every day, if you're not pulling in the numbers that they're pulling in, then you're doing it wrong. That's what it boils down to. Which is entirely not even accurate because the vast majority of all content creators on this platform, hell, any platform, do it part-time for fun without ever making any money. But when you get to that level of making cash, when you get to that level of being able to make the money and you're able to then at that point, do that kind of stuff, then it becomes an entirely different world. And everyone bases not even like your value, but even like the weight of your opinion is all about whether or not you have more subscribers or more views, right? Like that's what it boils down to. But but every single time, none of that actually matters because if that was the case, they would not even be talking about me right now. But because I said one thing that blew up on Twitter and got all of them in a fucking tizzy about it, they are now talking about me. So again, it's kind of fucking funny because I'm going to laugh at this right now. And then I'm going to go back to work tomorrow and go back to working on my short stories and everything else I'm working on and have more fucking fun. This is just something to laugh at. Stuttering Craig looks like a crackhead. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Saggy here says, whenever people attack sub counts, it's just weak at attempt at a diss. It is. It's a weak at attempt at a diss. Now, here's the thing. If Craig wanted me to come on and talk with him about all this shit, I would have no problem with that. But that's the other side of this as well. We have to also make sure we talk about this shit, right? This is cope. Cope my ass, you piece of shit. It's not even fucking cope. It's fucking truth. But here's the big thing. Whenever you have people like this who criticize someone like me, okay, they will never actually want to engage in the conversation. And the reason why is because they don't want to have me come on their stream or they don't want to go on my stream. They want to be in their little bubble just as right here. And that's where it's at. That's where it's always been. The last time I was on with Jeremy Griggs was a couple years ago and I destroyed him in a fucking conversation because he had nothing to hold back on. He had nothing to say, nothing to really, argue. It's all hyperbole. It's all nonsense. It's all bullshit. And again, as I said beforehand, I will stand on my experience. I will stand on my education. I'll stand on my jobs. I'll stand on everything that I've done. These guys don't. I mean, Craig, I would say, has that for gaming. All right, for doing the gaming side of things. But anyway.
The response to this is exactly, what you'd expect. Drinker came back and said, "Oh no, how will this movie ever succeed without the Boulder King to support it?" Is this his nickname, the Boulder King? I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, Boulder Boy, the Boulder King. Yeah.
I prefer that than the Uber driver. I will fully acknowledge that. It's easier to love the Boulder King references than it is the Uber driver shit. I will fucking fully admit that. And so that is kind of funny. I've owned the Boulder King shit absolutely over the years. Let's see here. When Matt brought up Jeremy's daughter to him, yeah, Jeremy was pretty mad about that one. But again, I use it to prove a point. I will always make my arguments. However I feel the best possible way is to get the point across quicker.
Okay. Well, he wanted a little clarification when it came to this. This tweet has obviously blown up, which is fantastic. So thank you very much for visiting my Twitter account. Here's a video version of this tweet right here.
See what I'm talking about, right? Like all I'm doing is fucking doing like, yeah, here, check out this video. It's on Twitter, it's on fucking YouTube, it's on fucking TikTok and shit like that. Check it out. For one, I hate the way I look in this goddamn video. The way I have my camera right now is fucking terrible. If my glasses slip, I just look like a fucking slug, and I hate it. But either way, I'm still going to stand by what I said. Otherwise, I wouldn't have posted it, right? I wouldn't have posted it. People don't understand that about me. I will hold but true to my fucking opinions. That is not an issue at all. That is not an issue at all.
So let's actually hear it from this guy's mouth himself. As by the way, great phrase frame to start your.
Yep, like I said, I look like shit. What I'm going to say is going to definitely not win me any friends, and I don't really care about that at this particular point in time. But I have to talk to you guys about Project Hail Mary and my reasoning for not going to see it in theaters, and my reasoning for telling you to not also.
Which can I just say the fact.
Look, I'm going to call for what I'm going to call for. It is what it is. Again, if I wasn't over the target, they would not be as worried as they are. They would not be reacting the way that they are. I did this a couple years ago. I put out a TikTok about how Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, all these guys are basically just like modern day versions of McCarthyism. And you'd be amazed at how many fucking people came back and said McCarthy was right. I thought that was wild. And it just completely validated my arguments. So every once in a while, I'm able to put out an argument like this that is 100% able to come on in and just fucking kick the hornet's nest. Right. And so they don't really ever have an argument back to what I'm saying. They're going to respond to the general shit that I'm thinking that they're going to respond to. But it's really going to be nothing of value, which is, again, what I would expect from people who, for one, don't know who the fuck I am, don't know what I know, don't have my experiences, and are just going to get triggered by the things that I say. All the while, they're always fucking laughing at lefties who apparently get triggered by the things they say. Slightly hypocritical, don't you think?
That he refuses to watch what is a phenomenal fucking movie, absolutely amazing, because he doesn't like one content creator doing one interview.
It's called having fucking convictions, Vera. It's called having convictions. Why would I support something that the people behind it, the guy who wrote it, the conceiver of the concept, when he goes on with a person who is actively attempting many times over to not only obfuscate, but lie to his audience about the message. All right. And we're going to look at a fucking Critical Drinker video about Supergirl. And again, going to tear that shit apart too. The whole point is that when you claim to like all this shit, the shit that they're doing, I don't. So I'm going to stand by my fucking convictions. And I'm going to talk about that. Because I have everything else in this world that is one of the only things that we have, truly that we have, is our convictions, right? But again, they don't care. You gotta remember, they don't really care much about this. All right, I'm over the target in the sense that it triggered them. They all became Trigglypuffs over this, but they also are doing it they're gonna try to stretch for whatever argument that they've got. So first it was my channel is dead. I'm the Boulder King. Okay, where the fuck have you been for 8 years? Jesus. But that's all they got.
Just shows that he never wanted to see it in the first place and he was just fishing for an excuse.
No, I actually want to go see the movie. The Martian was awesome. Phil Lord and Chris Miller are fucking amazing filmmakers. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is one I just showed my kids a couple weeks ago. 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, awesome comedies. Love those movies. I think I would have loved to have seen what they did with Solo, a Star Wars story. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, fantastic films that they produced. The second Lego movie, not so much. That one, I don't know what happened with that, but it was just not very good story-wise. But as far as Chris Miller and Phil Lord go, oh, by the way, The Last Man on Earth was a show that they were show running on Fox, starring Will Forte that had like 4 seasons, was really, really good. So I'm sorry, you want to go again that I didn't want to see this movie? I mean, I'm just, only been a fan of the fucking filmmakers for, oh God, 2009 to now. So yeah, how long ago is that? 17 fucking years? Gee, you're not very smart, are you?
And ultimately, he was just hoping that this was going to get him a little bit of attention on social media.
Not really.
And I'm also so confused
Oh,
about that.
right. Sorry. I need to talk about this for a second. So I sent out the tweet and I posted the video and then I forgot about everything. I did. I legitimately forgot about it until I think it was like a day and a half later when Rational Skeptic sent me a DM on Twitter going like, hey, what do you think about this? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I'm like, oh shit. So yeah, I just said it and I forgot about it. I'm not sitting there refreshing Twitter like, won't someone please respond to what I'm saying? Oh my God, please back up my opinion, you fucking morons. So anyway, she's completely wrong on everything, but have you ever seen her videos? I've seen like one of them and I turned it off like not even like halfway through. It's just, again, this is all like nutritionally devoid content. It's fucking terrible shit.
Because he spent a bunch of his career in film, like working in movie theaters. And so he has a passion for the industry. And this is considered a trailblazer in the industry. Wouldn't you want to see it just on that basis?
See, again, what does that mean? It's a trailblazer of the industry. It's a movie in 2026 that's making some money. That's what it is. Right? This is what you're talking about when you're like, this is where the people kind of believe either whatever hype is coming out, but then they try to deny the hype that's coming out. My issue with the movie is with the writer of the book being buddy with a dickhead that I don't like, that I believe misleads his audience and has fundamentally harmed the industry from an outsider in perspective. People who want access, who want influence, who want a seat at the table. That's what they're pushing for at the end of the day. I say that in this video too. It's 100% accurate. So again, not even really understanding what it is that I'm trying to say. Maybe they do. I haven't watched this yet. Maybe they fucking do.
When you say working in the theaters, you mean actually like shoveling popcorn and selling tickets?
I don't know his full.
It doesn't look like he was really shoveling it. It looks like he was eating it. But
are you fucking kidding me? Half my blood is popcorn at this point. Hell yeah, I did eat it. Are you fucking kidding me? Popcorn is delicious. It's fucking more nutritional whenever shit comes out of your mouth. Jesus Christ. What kind of fucking a fat comment? Oh lordy. Oh no. Oh shit. I was a chunky boy. Oh, fucking Jesus Christ. Again, this is like low grade recess tier shit. It's not even valuable. Give me something good. Give me a piece of criticism that actually shows you know what the fuck I'm talking about, or it can dismantle something. I'm waiting for anything here. Like anything they say that's going to be somewhat good to fucking discuss will give me a half chub. Like, let's fucking go.
Working as like a manager of some sort or something. I don't really remember. It's been ages since I've talked to Matt, but I'm pretty sure it was that. Yeah, it was like
I'm the manager.
I don't know who the fuck that is actually. So if we've talked, I'm so sorry. Who is that? I don't know who the fuck that is. Am I supposed to know who the fuck that is? I'm so sorry. I don't know. I don't know you. I'm so sorry. Sure.
All right, well, hey, maybe there's some logic here that we're missing here. I think it's important for us to see his whole thoughts because I like to hear all the sides here. All right.
So go and see it in theaters. And if you have gone and seen it, don't go see it again. Okay. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Matt, what the hell? Why are you talking about this? This movie is amazing. Did they talk about me this whole fucking time? Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow. They go through this for a while. Holy shit. What's the most replayed? What's the most replayed shit here? There we go. The shift from the school. Okay, this ought to be more because they go through. I don't even care. Let's go through this shit. I want to. This is a long one. This is a long one.
Attraction, but it is very confusing. And you guys mentioned he did have his whole thing where he was striking people before too.
I never struck anybody. There's a difference there. See, okay, like, look, this part I will admit. 8 years on, fucking, I hate having to re-explain it. A flag is not a strike. That's it. Saggy, you would agree.
Yeah, but also, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, but also it's kind of funny that Vera's talking about false striking while she's friends with the quartering who is literally crashing out about striking people who he claims are harassing his wife and family instead of going to the cops or instead of, reporting those people on like Twitter or something. He's like trying to take down their channels. So I just find it ironic that when your whole thing from back in the day with the flagging was because you had people who were like harassing you, doxing you, messing with your family, or potentially threatening to. I think they even doxed your partner, at the time, whatever.
Yeah.
And all that shit. That's completely big no-no because you're Matt Jarbo. But when it's the quartering, who Vera Doc is definitely friends with because I met her in person and we talked about it. I just find that very ironic and very hypocritical. But then again, what do you expect from a lot of these people? They're a bunch of hypocrites. The only other person I know very well and personally is the dude next to Vera. I don't know. It took me a while to get on here. I don't know if he's chimed in. I highly doubt he would. Yeah, he probably would just sit there because he don't do the
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, so that's Panda. Panda.
The guy is Panda?
And his name's Panda. Yeah, Panda Sub.
Oh, okay. I've heard the name. I don't know who it is. Okay, that makes okay.
So Panda, he's very smart. Like, he is ridiculously smart. And if anybody on that panel has really much to say about the industry, it would be that guy. But he also, when they were talking about laughing at your sub count and your views, I'm like, Panda had a YouTube channel called Panda Sub 2000, and his videos are like high production quality, right? And he barely got views, and he didn't care because he wasn't doing it for the views. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't expecting it to make him a big content creator, but he has ever since linking up with Stuttering Craig, he has been growing and his work is getting noticed, which I'm so happy for him. So it kind of does suck that I see him on this panel because I know he's really not. He probably doesn't care about any drama related stuff. If anything, it probably is just like the topic of whatever both you guys are discussing, this whole situation, Critical Drinker. But for the most part, Panda is actually not a chud. He's not the chud in this situation. That's why when I saw, I was like, oh no, I gotta come on here and explain, because one of those people especially 100% is not somebody who be considered a chud. He's actually really smart.
Okay. Well, look, I don't think everyone they associate with is going to be considered a chud. There are people that are just kind of hanging out, but you can tell the types, right? Like again, Vera is just, that's what she does, is she butters up the fascists and right. But she talks, okay, but here's the thing about the quartering. So this particular video is from like last week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's before the quarterings crash out. So then the key is to watch whatever they do if they ever talk about that and they bring it up and she says anything, if she's even there. That's going to tell you everything you need to know about these people.
Well, that's the thing. I guarantee you she's not saying nothing about the quarterings crash out, because again, they always validate the people they like. It doesn't matter if, Matt Jarbo, Mundane Matt, Mr. Boulder Boy did the same thing or said he was flagging people or flagged people because he was being harassed or he was being targeted. It's only okay when it's the quartering, because boo-hoo, quartering's such a fucking victim. And the thing with Stuttering Craig, right? The thing with Stuttering Craig is like, bro, no shade, totally shade. I'm lying. This is gonna be totally shade. How'd that video game awards thing you did go, bro?
It was bad. I skimmed through it. It was just like I saw Smash JT and I was just like, yeah, you can't get any freaking more low T than this. The thing about these people is that they're worms. They're just worms. All right. They don't do anything at all. They just fucking roll around on the ground and playing the shit. That's it. That's all they know how to fucking do. They're talking about my experience. Oh, I don't know what he did. He shovel popcorn. Oh, you fucking eat it. Yeah. I love popcorn, for one. Fuck you. But two,
hold on, Momoon, who are you saying is a racist? Who is a racist? Panda sub? 'Cause I guarantee you he's not. I 100%.
I don't know. I don't know.
100% guarantee he's not.
I don't even see that comment from him. So Geek Prime X is amazing. Thank you. Butter runs through my veins. It's funny you say that, Barrel Bob. I don't put butter on my popcorn. I don't put butter on my pop. No, this is true. I don't put butter on my popcorn because of how many calories are in it, and I don't like it. I will put pepper on my popcorn because I think it tastes better. That's just me. But yeah, so I mean, like this whole thing is fucking Cope. This is a Cope video here running defense for someone like Drinker because they're friends with Drinker. I think Drinker was on here before or after they did this whole segment talking about me because I saw there was like a video I thought I saw like a snapshot from or something that people had fucking shown me. And for the most part, again, like it's just these people, they don't really like offer anything. There's nothing here that I think is an interesting piece of commentary. You know, if you're going to bring up like my history is mundane mad because I actually ran this whole transcript through AI. And so, Stuttering Craig is friends with Melanie back. Oh God.
Of course they are. This is the thing. They all are under the same umbrella. So they all collab. They all talk. They're all buddies. But you saw what happened on my channel when I was talking about the critical drinker thing. This very same situation that you talked about. Dude, that entire group, like it is insane. Like they ratioed the shit out of that stream. Like I have over 200 comments. That video is at like 1.4K views, and my likes to dislikes are appalling. Like these people are.
Oh yeah, no, you can't say anything. You can't say a word. Yeah, it's fucking hysterical. It's all same thing. It's all same thing. And I've read some of the comments you posted on Twitter about it, and I've seen very similar comments. You know, it's the unwillingness to engage with the argument. So I did, before going live, I did actually run this. Actually, all the videos I wanted to look at tonight, I ran it through Gemini and had it read the transcripts and then give me the overview. Right. So they do go on to talk about, like, this is interesting. One of the hosts, I think it's a girl on the left there, says that they knew me from the Gamergate era and expresses confusion over my current political stance. Now, the funny thing about my current political stance is it's the same as it was 10 years ago. It's the same as it was 12 years ago. My political stance never changed. I never portrayed myself as being anything other than a progressive. I criticize the left, and I still do. But these guys try to make everything out to be either like Trump derangement syndrome, which is one of the arguments that Jeremy makes about all this shit. And I guess Orange Man bad, claiming, I guess at one point here, somebody says that the 2016 election broke my brain and caused me to go against my audience. It's not at all true.
And here's the thing though, even if for argument's sake you change your stance, so what? Like, I don't understand why people forget that you are allowed to change your mind about something at any given moment for any reason, because that is the freedom of choice. That's a freedom of opinion. It's a freedom of speech. And these people don't understand that. That's why when Critical Drinker came out, oh, I don't know why he was so excited to meet me. It's like, yeah, and he changed his mind. Well, he changed his mind because he's got a TV show. He's got to suck up to the bigwigs. And I was like, yeah, it says more about you that the industry wants nothing to do with you guys, to the point where if they won't work with people who associate with you, they are that over you guys and done with your bullshit that they want nothing to do with you. And then they're like, well, the industry, they were never wanting anything to do with them ever because they're, because why would you want to support somebody who's trying to hurt your business? Like, are we serious?
Well, see, and that's a big thing with this kind of stuff too, is that like none of the mainstream gaming industry or even like Hollywood wants to deal with these people. Now, one of the things that they say is that, because I complained about Drinker wanting access, right? And Drinker went to the Project Hail Mary UK premiere, and he knows Andy Weir. Okay. And the thing is, like, yeah, they want access. They want to have a seat at the table. Because that's exactly what I don't have the clip anymore. I have to go back and find the video. But remember when you had the Zack Snyder situation with the stream, right? They were doing the Geeks and Gamers stream, and Zack Snyder came on and said, "Oh, I have nothing to do with this." When that happened, no. When that happened, Jeremy Geeks and Gamers ran and did a live stream, and he has since deleted it, I think, or privated it or whatever. But in that live stream, he was complaining about how he wants to have a seat at the table, and that's ultimately giving away the entire game. All these guys want is a seat at the table. Why do you think Stuttering Craig is doing a fucking Game Awards show that got like 15,000 views?
So I disagree, but listen to why before you jump about it. I don't think they want to sit at the table. I think they want to decide who sits at the table. I think they want the seat so they can control everything. I think that's what they want. And I think honestly, I think they should just go the route Eric July went, is like, okay, we'll put your money where your mouth is and do it. I give Stuttering Craig credit for doing it.
I will give him credit. I'll give him credit for attempting it. It doesn't mean it's good.
Right.
I'll give him credit for attempting it. Eric July has been able to turn culture warisms into a fucking comic book business that's made millions of dollars, but it is having declining sales. And most people who even read ISOM are just like, it is not very good, but they like it because it kind of sticks it to Marvel and sticks it to DC. The whole point is that there's money to be made off of grifting to these people. That's what it is. There's money to be made on grifting about that idea. So when we talk about the access and the seat at the table, it really boils down to the concept of being a tastemaker. That's what they want. Right? They want to sit there and like have a studio come to them and be like, hey, we're going to make this movie. Would you mind giving us your thoughts on it? So then they can watch a preview of it, or they can read the script, given that they read, because they don't. But, look at something and be like, no, that's woke. That's DEI. That's bad. That's what they want. They want to have that influence without actually having to do the work of getting there. And they think that by being this kind of culture critic and amassing the numbers that they have, that's what's going to put them in the trajectory to do that. Now, I will admit that it's entirely possible when David Ellison takes over Warner Brothers, these guys might actually have a shot. I'm not even lying about that one. But because that guy is so fucking out there with like what his daddy wants, because he's using his daddy's money and Saudi Arabian money to take over Warner Brothers. And so that's what these guys want. That's all they want, Saggy. Because here's what you're not seeing though. Okay, just real quick. Okay, here's the thing. Critical Drinker. Do you know the last time he put out a book? 2022. 4 years. In the last 4 years, that's when he started really heavily working on his YouTube channels. It was, it's been blowing up since then. So he hasn't been writing anything. He hasn't been really making anything. They did that one like 30-minute short film based upon one of his books, which has gotten completely ratioed by not only his audience, but everyone else who saw it. I thought it was okay. I saw most of it. It was fine. A little short, short and a little slow, but I get it. Okay. Like I can find entertainment and shit. And it's, even that kind of stuff. And it's like, but you can tell that they want that, right? What do you think Drinker would want above all else? Some big studio, MGM, Paramount, Warner Brothers to come on and be like, let's adapt the Ryan Drake novels.
I mean, I think anyone who creates something would want that. Like even you would love for somebody to be like, hey, you wrote a story.
No, I am working on a bunch of short stories that I plan on packaging and sending to studios. 100%. That I'm not even saying that it's a bad thing. Okay. But I'm saying it's like, I can at least be honest and open about what it is I'm seeking and how I'm going about it. These guys aren't going to be, they're not, okay. Someone like Drinker's a little bit different because he's actually written. Like, let's take Jeremy Griggs, for example. Motherfucker ain't even graduated high school.
That don't mean nothing.
That don't mean nothing. Well, right. Let's talk about
people who dropped out of high school to pursue their dream of being a writer or whatever, and they've succeeded. But I hear what you're saying. I will say, just to chime in real quick, is that I feel like the major issue I personally have, and I think a lot of people should have with the anti-woke side of things, is that they, in the beginning, because remember when we first talked about this stuff and I was kind of like, people were like, oh, you're defending them. I'm like, there are good points that they started to have, which is like, there are some discrepancies in the industry that need to be put out there and exposed, like how they don't actually care about people of color representation. It's not because they care, because they want diversity, they want to make people of color feel included or gay people feel included. It's because they want to cater to get that money. Like that's what they do. I don't want caterers. I want people who genuinely care, right? That is a true thing that does happen in the industries. They used to talk about those types of things, but now it's just bitching about Supergirl not being hot enough to fuck or something. Like it's just what are we fighting for? Like what is the fight? What is the real fight? I literally
Well,
saw
because there isn't a real fight anymore. That's
Right.
kind of the whole point. It's like
Right.
so there was, if you go back and you look at like the I don't want to say the Gamergate era or anything, but there was a concerted effort amongst liberal publications, and this is what it boils down to. Okay, it's not even really about like the filmmakers in many of the instances. It's really like the publications that have these reporters that ask these very loaded questions and then run with those headlines. And then the headlines are the ones that end up getting taken and blown out of proportion. Like Millie Alcock talking about, you know, like the ownership of women's bodies. And she's talking about House of the Dragon, not Supergirl. But the headline has it framed as it's a Supergirl quote. And
Dude,
so they ran with that as being a quote from Supergirl when that's not the accurate case.
Matt, they literally did that with Zendaya. I literally saw somebody posting talking
Oh,
shit about quote
right.
from Zendaya that was in 2021.
You're talking about the director quote, right? The director
Yeah, it
quote
was
where
in
she's and
2021.
you know they're all going to run with this now. Expect fucking Drinker to do a video on it, Nerdrotic to do a video on it, all these idiots to do a video on it, because they're going to take that 2021 quote, that 5-year-old quote, and they're going to run with it as if it's new.
Right,
Now,
and
I guess to be fair to them, it is new because they don't read these interviews, right? They don't see this kind of stuff. And again, you know, it's like if you look at the outlets where this shit's coming from, Variety, Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, they're all owned by the same company, Penske Media. So Penske Media is very much in conjunction with itself to create narratives that I think are meant to drive clicks and anger and all that shit. They are trying to really pull from this kind of stuff that these guys are into. It's a very subversive tactic.
Right.
And it's one of the reasons why I'm looking at this thing from studying Craig. And I'm going to end that segment with this because we've been on for way too long. It's just that, look, those guys, they don't know who the fuck I am. And they think that I'm out there projecting because I'm not going to movie premieres. It's like, I've never cared about movie premieres. I've never given a shit about that. I don't even like celebrity culture. Okay. I fucking hate People, Entertainment Weekly. I hate BuzzFeed. I hate all that shit. The only thing I care about is telling good stories and wanting more people to watch more things. That's it. That's all I've ever given a fuck about. All right. But the thing is that these guys will conflate that and having my own standards and convictions to just being upset that I'm not where I'm saying somebody else wants to be based upon everything I've seen. That's where he wants to be. It's intellectually dishonest, and it's everything I expect from them.
Yeah. I mean, I will say this, my best advice, do what I do. Whenever I see a celebrity quote something, I go to Google, I search the quote, and it pops up exactly when the person said it and where they said it on. And they also provide more context to it. Just be like, hey, did Zendaya say this? And Google will say, yes, Zendaya made this comment in a British interview where she said, and they quoted the exact word she said, which she never said it didn't say she promised. It just said, if I ever became a movie director. But it's Google's free. I don't know if people knew this, but you can use Google free of charge. It's a great service to use when you're looking for information on the World Wide Web, and it archives everything. So Google it. And if these YouTubers would just do research, which they don't, because they don't care. They don't care about research. They don't care if they're wrong. They don't care if it's a fact. It's like, this sounds good enough to make money off of. And that's the problem I have. Just be honest about the hustle. And I'll respect you a little bit. Like, just be honest that you're an dishonest individual, and that's it. I'll be like, all right, cool. At least I know now.
Well, like, yeah, I'll give you an example, or I'll just give you a quick example, right? So over on Twitter, I saw this earlier, right? So this guy called the Angry Badger, who is, I think he works for like Film Threat. Okay. He says the Harry Potter trailer on HBO Max has it's 6,000 dislikes away from getting ratioed. So then I said, well, this is misinformation, and I explained what the extension is and how it doesn't operate in the way that they think it does because of it's guessing. It's literally guessing what it might be based upon averages. And it's a Chrome extension that's not tied to the YouTube API. because the YouTube API does not put this information out there. So I say this to him, and he responds back with a fucking picture of Smokey just going like, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. Right. And it's like, right. So you call them out. You call out these chuds for their fucking lies and their fucking obfuscation and their misinformation. And they're like, just get out of here. You're fucking it up, man. You're fucking up the grift. Like, you're fucking it up. Stop. You know, because that's what it boils down to. That's what it all boils down to.
How dare you bring facts in this?
I know, right? God damn it. See, and this is why. And this is why, for one, these people will never talk to me. After that, remember, you saw the old video where I went in on Jeremy Griggs, that interview, right? And those guys, by the way, in the Stuttering Craig video, they apparently bring up a clip that got taken out of context because I guess like I was on with Max and I was arguing about Jeremy, and then Jeremy jumped on and I had to leave or something. I was at work. I was doing Uber Eats, but like I was having a phone issue with that. Like I was actually working or something. So it wasn't like because you know me, I would never turn down arguing with these guys, like ever. You know,
that's true.
That is true. Everyone who fucking knows me knows I would never turn it down. And so it was just like one of those things where I was busy. I was at work, you know, so it is what it is. But again, people who like to control the narrative, they like to do that shit. So, one of the things I wanted to touch upon, and you might get a kick out of this, is I wanted to start off making fun of one person in particular. You might know he's a React channel.
Oh God.
All right. We got our boy.
I know.
Well, we're going to be talking about Tyrone Magnus here, right? Because remember, we're debunking the chuds. So Tyrone Magnus, who single-handedly, by the way, actually, I don't know if anyone knows this. I just want to start this off. Tyrone Magnus only got popular because of the reactions, where he would just sit there and silently react. And in 2016, Grade A Under A, you know, he hasn't really been around in a while, but Grade A Under A came out, did one video about React channels, focusing heavily on Tyrone Magnus. And that one video completely nuked the entire genre about how it was basically just copyright theft. Like legit. It was one video from one unfaced Scottish guy who ended up kicking off this entire thing. So I think it's really fucking funny. So apparently Tyrone here believes that Supergirl is going to flop based upon a poll. I kind of want to check this one out. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, let's go. Let's do it.
Happening. So I was sent this poll and asked to check it out. And when I saw the poll,
Oh my! I just have to point out with bald, dude, grow your hair back, dude. His head literally looks like it looks like a dick. It looks like a dick. I'm sorry. Like, at least have some stubble.
He doesn't have a bumpy head, so that's good.
He kind of does. Keep an eye on it. It does a little bit. Like,
I love how you're blocking the poll so nobody can.
oh
see
well, I can't fucking whatever. Okay, it's how excited are you for Supergirl? You can kind of figure out what it is. Jesus Christ.
Leave his bald head
Jesus
alone.
shit. Anyway,
I was like, this gives me an idea. Maybe I should start my own poll and see what happens. Now, one thing that I've noticed about when I start a poll, 5 to 10 minutes in, if I check back, whatever those numbers are, whatever those ratios are, like whatever's leading with whatever's losing, whatever's the highest voted, whatever's the lowest voted, they tend to stay the same, yet get bigger as the polls.
I'm like, sorry, hold on. I have to speed this up because he's just slowing down to go. Let's go a little bit, 120 speed.
Stays on my channel.
There we go.
Now, if you've never heard of Comics Explained is a channel that explains comics. It's right in the title. When I first found him years ago, I binge watched his videos. There's a lot of videos on stuff that I hadn't heard about, or certain characters that I never really looked into before, but was kind of curious about, or he told stories about certain comic arcs that I hadn't had a chance to read. So there's a few of them I found. It kind of reminded me of Star Wars Theory, how Theory would talk about certain things, like about a lot of characters that I like. A certain character.
Okay, sorry. I just have to kind of like Comics Explained explains actual things that happen in the comics. Theory just makes shit up and puts a theory label on it. There's the difference. All right. Now, if he's talking about like storytelling, yeah, I'll give Theory credit, right? His theories are interesting. And I think he's a good storyteller, despite being a chud, but I think he's a good storyteller. That's anyway, that I needed to chime in on that with some facts.
Because I really hadn't looked into. So I binge watched Star Wars Theory when I first ran into him too. Well, as you can see, our polls are similar.
No, they're not. I mean, like seeing it opening day is sure, right? But it's like the watch it when it hits streaming and not interested are entirely different because your audiences are entirely different. Also, look at this here: 39,000 votes, 1,800 votes. How many subs does Tyrone Magnus have now? Like 2 million? No, he's got Tyrone Magnus sub count. What's he got? Let's see here. Subscriber count is 2.03 million subscribers. 2.03 million subscribers. We'll say though he still pulls in a pretty decent daily rate. Averaging about 131,000 views per day, which is, it's not bad. Part of the issue with that, just for people who don't realize, is that's like still less than 10% of his audience, which goes to show the older channels get, the fewer people actually engage with them. I think that's one of the things a lot of people don't realize about YouTube is like, there's just that dead channel aspect. Like I actually did notice a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, I asked YouTube about the possibility of a feature to remove all inactive subs. Because I think that would be good to just get rid. If someone hasn't engaged with your content in 6 months, just get rid of them, right? I think every creator would get behind that. Because then everything you post would then go out to the people that are actively watching your shit. And they were like, no, that ruins the experience of YouTube. I'm like, really? Because I would think that the fucking mental health problems that people start developing when the content that they put out is no longer reaching the amount of people that it used to because of dead accounts or people who have just abandoned accounts, that would cause more of a fucking problem. I don't know. We'll see if they ever do that shit. All right. So any thoughts so far, Saki?
I just think this Supergirl controversy is just dumb.
Oh, it's going to get worse because we haven't gotten to the drinker video yet. But we'll get to this one.
I don't know if I can stay up that late.
I know. I'm going to try to get through this one a little faster. Okay. It's like we're already like, 2/3 of the way done, basically.
Mine's trending very similar to his, only after an hour. His has been up 3 days. He's got 39,000 votes. I've got 1.8 thousand votes. And this matters. These numbers matter because when companies do studies, when political pollings are done, and other types of polls are done, similar numbers to actually, both of these are actually done. So when you think about it, people have done studies on humanity that have only included about 1,000 people. They've done political polls around the size of.
Okay, but the thing about polling is that polling by and large is a snapshot of that exact moment. And then the thing about scientific polling as compared to unscientific polling, which is what this is scientific polling will use specific constraints in order to be able to get what they believe is the most accurate representation of the breakdown of the type of people that they're polling. Okay. And so Tyrone Magnus has been a chud for how long now? Very long time. All right. Remember when Eternals came out and you had that gay couple and he got super mad that there was a gay couple in it? That is his audience. The people that are still around with him after he was upset about there being 2 gay men in the Eternals movie. Then you get Comics Explained, who's been very active for many years, and that is very much in his wheelhouse, is talking about comic books and things like that. So asking, are you excited? And people who, only 10%, so 3,900 votes are saying seeing it opening day. That is probably more of, I would say, an accurate snapshot. than what Tyrone does, because they're two entirely different audiences that are tuned to two entirely different algorithms. So that is why what he's trying to make the argument here is something he has like an elementary grade understanding of.
Comics Explained. They've done studies that big too. So you can't say that these numbers mean nothing.
I can, and I just did.
Because they mean something.
They do not. I'm sorry.
Our
Tyrone.
subscriber bases
are not
have
similar.
similar feelings.
No, they're not.
Now, he has different perspectives on the comic movies and certain things than I do. Not a different perspective than him. We have some of the same perspectives. All right. Like I said, I've watched a lot of his channel. Look how similar our fan base is. The only difference
Yeah, I know.
is the last one.
I know. See, I love that.
Basically,
Right?
all he's saying is, "Hey, me and this other YouTuber are on the same side of a culture war. Congratulations."
And it's not even a culture war. I think it's entirely different on Comic Explained's part. Because Comics Explained is going to be like, hey, to my comic book loving audience, how does Supergirl look? And they're like, nah, it's okay. And then Tyrone is like, hey, to my women hating He-Man Club fucking fan base, how is Supergirl looking? And they're like, it looks like shit. It's a completely different audience of people. And I just love the mental gymnastics that he's going through in an attempt to try to conflate the two or compare the two.
But my thing is like, why? What is the reason that it looks bad from the trailer? Like, how does it look bad?
So, okay. So in many ways, the idea here is that Supergirl is, like she's broken, she's drunk. Okay. And like, she's going to go on a journey of self-discovery and redemption and everything else. And they think about it like that from the perspective of like, it just looks like what they're trying to make the argument. Sorry. And I'm sure Drinker will do this too. I've heard this from other people in the Chud department, is that those guys, they go, well, it looks like Guardians of the Galaxy. So that means it's James Gunn. James Gunn is wildly politically left. So he is in favor of woke. He's in favor of diversity, inclusion, and equity, all that stuff. And therefore, it's going to be full of political messaging about how women are good and white men are bad. And that's largely what these guys think every movie is about, But throughout the course of history, I mean, white people have been the predominant, race on the planet, and there's been a lot of bad people. So, I mean, it's this kind of numbers game at this point, folks. But they have to make that argument in order. It's like the Zendaya thing, right? Zendaya says, I want to direct and I'm going to have a black woman as my lead. And people are like, well, not a white man. Like, what the hell, Zendaya? That's racist. Never mind the story she wants to tell is going to be probably from the perspective of a black woman.
Oh, it's funny because I had that argument like a legit argument with somebody about the Zendaya thing. I wouldn't say an argument. It was just like a little back and forth. But they were just like, well, why can't people just be hired because they're good at their job? And I'm like, I don't know, anti-woke people. Why can't a black person just be hired because they were good at the job? Why does it have to be because they're black? Exactly. Like they use the same arguments that go against their narratives and when it suits them. And I find it hilarious because I'm like, you literally are saying the same thing that people on the other side have been saying, is like, maybe they just hired the black guy to play Snape because he nailed the audition. Like,
that's a whole other topic of conversation.
Listen, I still disagree with it, but I'm just saying overall,
Did you watch the Dripwarts memes though? You got to see the drip. I'll send you those if you haven't seen them.
I've seen like the Snape rap. They have this dude made a
no.
whole rap.
Dripwarts is something totally different. It's not. It's fucking funny. I'll show it to you. I'll send you links later. But no, I get what you mean though. I get what you mean. It's like these guys. Here's the thing: they don't have arguments. If you notice, like he's trying to make this comparison and trying to compare the two audiences as being the same, right? And this is where honestly Comics Explained should come back out and just be going like this, basically like, that gif of James Franco. Hold on, let's see, James Franco gif. Let's if I can find the gif. Yeah, okay, here we go. I gotta
Well, you look at that. Do you want to hear my perfect analogy about what I think about these people when they talk shit about trailers?
Yeah.
So Like, guys, when you go out to like a Costco or BJ's or something, you know how they have those like samples of food, right? So you don't go to those guys, get a sample of the food. It's absolutely disgusting and you almost threw up. But then you decide to buy that product and take it home for your family, who also agreed that this product you bought was absolutely disgusting. But it's like you tasted it at first. You knew what it tasted like. So why'd you buy it? This is what I think of when people are like, oh, the trailer looks shit, but yet you go and see it. Like, I've asked normal people, remember when you saw a trailer of a movie and you didn't like the trailer and you thought, this doesn't look like it's for me? Do you go see that movie anyways? They're like, no, exactly. What
I
happened
usually,
when you
yeah, I might go see it at home, you know, and then do that. But here's the gif I'm talking about. Like, this is what Comics Explained should be doing. Like, I don't
Yeah.
fucking know you. Get the fuck away from me. Who the fuck are you? Jesus Christ. All right, let's get back to this here because we're getting close.
My fan base has had it more than his ass.
Is it because you've pushed the message that
His
they
is
should
at
have it?
24%. Let's call it 25. Mine's at 50. You know? I mean, damn. Now, when you go to his channel to see his numbers, you have to vote. I voted seeing it opening day. As you can see here, that's what I do. I do movie reviews, but I'm that type of guy too. I always like to go on opening day. I've always liked actually the big crowds cheering and having fun together. I've always loved that about movies. And I'm a Superman fan.
At least he admits it. I
And I'm
respect him
trying
for
to
that.
give this DCU a chance. And I'm going to give Supergirl a fair shot. So I'm going to see it.
I will honestly, if that's true and he gives it a fair shot, I can respect that. I can respect it. Right? I'll admit, I like when Ghostbusters 2016 was coming out 10 years ago now. I was on that movie. Like, a lot of people know me from like my coverage of that film. I still went opening day. And I was still like, fingers crossed, please don't suck. It did, but I was like, please don't suck. So if he's being honest and he's not going to pull some fucking bullshit, then I'm like, all right, I can respect that. I can respect it.
I'm gonna give him his flowers because I don't watch a lot of Tyrone Magnus, but admitting that, like, hey, I do movie reviews, so I like to go to the movies, so I will obviously go and see it opening night. He's admitting, yes, I will call it garbage, but I'm still going to see it. At least he admits it. At least he admits it. I respect that. That's an honest reviewer right there saying, yeah, I don't like the trailer. I think it's woke garbage, but I'm still gonna go give them my money because I like to go to the movies. Let's go to the movies. Hey, I can't be too mad at that.
No, I will grant him, like I said, I will grant him some respect for that one here. You know, I will. Okay. Like, I will go after people that for good reasons. And then if they're doing something I agree with, I'll give them that. You know, I was looking here at his, really quick, looking at his, sub count or his viewer count. Right. So, you know, going back up here, it's like, see, he does politics, Michael Jackson. He watched The Boys. He just did a reaction to that, members only. You know, he does the drinker video that we're going to talk about here next. You know, so he's just kind of like doing his own thing. Fine. All right. Like this one, I don't know what video this one that he's watching, you know, but it's kind of like, it seems he's still doing the same shit, but now he's adding a lot more commentary, and okay, good for him. Good for him. But still, Comics Explained in him, not the same. You know what I mean? Not the
Right.
same at all.
I always find it weird when people of color are like very against, like, when they talk about woke stuff, and I'm like, you do understand that, like, at least, you know, I get it to a degree, but like, my thing is like, we can just be happy that Black people being casted in roles. You know, I'm happy when Black people are cast in roles. Sometimes I think they could be casted in different roles, sure, but you know, overall, I find it always weird when it's like, oh, this woke stuff. I'm like, the woke stuff started because people started seeing that like there was some things wrong. Like, look at our history in entertainment, guys. Like, we forget that. Like, Song of the South. Did we forget Song of the South? I could never forget Song of the South. And guess what? At the end of the day, even though Song of the South happened, you know that Black man was happy that he was one of the first Black men to have a movie and be the star and sing songs. And even though it was very racist and very stereotypical, that man still got a check.
You know what's
Probably
funny
wasn't a
about
big
that,
check,
though?
but it was a check.
It's like nobody really thought that movie was racist until like the 2000s. You know, like 'cause it was released, it was re-released like so many times. Like Michael Eisner, who used to run Disney. Like that's why Splash Mountain. It was his direction is what gave us Splash Mountain, because that was all fucking, you know, Song of the South, right? Peter Rabbit shit, or Briar Rabbit. And you know, now it's Tiana, but it looks fun. The Tiana ride looks fun. But yeah, it was all Michael Eisner. Michael Eisner fucking loved Song of the South.
Well, it was the thing with Song of the South is, was it racist now looking back on it? Sure, but that was the times and that was the norm. Was it right? No, but we didn't live in those times, you know? So at the end of the day, when I look at Song of the South, like, yeah, Song of the South wasn't something that I would think Disney wants to hold on to, you know? But at the end of the day, like, look at the fact that they did have a black man be a lead role, and you know that might have not led him to other things because the times were different, but like there's a black man on the big screen, and it was for kids.
Well,
and
but also, I mean, like, but it was a
huge
positive
fucking deal.
representation too. You know, like Rufus,
right.
Uncle Rufus was like a positive representation, but the context of the positive representation, you know, like on a plantation, all that shit, yeah, not great. But it's like I don't know, like I get why people don't like it. I've also felt that it's largely been in its for what it is something that is, it's made up to be worse than, you know, what it really is. But well, I'll tell you this though, if they ever re-released the movie in like on home video, I think it would sell like fucking hotcakes.
Oh, of course.
I think, you know, because here's the thing, you can't buy it domestically, but there was a version of it released overseas. And if you go on Facebook Marketplace, for some reason, Facebook Marketplace, people are selling bootleg copies of it.
Yeah, well, Song of the South, whether people, black people, white people, any people want to, you know, they don't want to admit it, but it is kind of part of black culture, because like that was kind of like a historical moment of having a black man be in a Disney movie like that and be, like you said, like be presented as like a positive person, not somebody to be feared. Yes, it was on a plantation, but it was like, hey, you know, black people aren't bad. Like, look, you know, you got this very loving, happy, very talented singer black man, you know, being around white kids, and it's not scary. Like the black man can be around the white kids, it's not a bad thing.
Well,
so
like look at Gone with the Wind, just to kind of go back. Hattie McDaniel, she, you know, she was a singer, a songwriter, comedian. She won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, becoming the first African American woman to win that award, you know, back in like 1939 or 1940, whatever the fuck it was. And she was in an entirely different room at the Oscars. You know, it's like it was so weird. Like they champion like progressiveness. Like, yeah, we're gonna give the Academy Award to a black woman, and then it's like, but she's not here with us. It's baby steps.
Yeah, it is. It is
steps.
baby step, and that's what I mean. I think, like I said, with this woke stuff, with the people hating on all of entertainment, saying we're tired of them throwing this in our face. I'm like, y'all have had this shit thrown in your face way longer than you realize. It was just different because they did it in a way that was so subtle that you didn't pay attention to, and also the fact that we were fucking children. And with a lot of these franchises, we were children. Like no one realized being a child. Dude, were you watching X-Men, the animated show, thinking, "Wow, this is really about racism and discrimination"?
Well, you were earlier today. You shared that clip from was it Tony Bond, whatever, Troy Bond, whatever his name is.
Yeah, he's a comedian.
Well, have you ever seen I know him from doing his Seinfeld bits, and where he plays like Jerry and George and Kramer.
Yeah,
I saw those online, but then like let's see if I can find the clip that you had. Let's see. What the fuck did you send me? The fuck did you send me in the DMs?
I thought it was funny, and it was AI, so I'd be right up your alley.
The fuck, girl? Jesus Christ!
I thought it'd be funny, and it was fitting because we're talking about Superman.
No, it's funny. It's fucking funny, but good lord.
Listen,
okay,
I can see why some people hate AI sometimes, because I see those things like, and I'm just like, yeah, the things people do with AI is very questionable.
Let's see. I'm trying to. Oh, here we go. Okay. Damn it! No, you shared the Michael one. I need the one that you had shared from the other guy.
Wait, which one?
The video, or did you? No, I think you responded to the tweet.
Yeah, hold on, I'll find it. Give me a second.
Because you know what I'm talking about, the X-Men. He made I think it was like a video clip about the X-Men. I'm trying to find it here. Well, I guess while we're looking for that, so what do you think about here we go, I found it. About Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith finally maybe breaking up.
Finally, fucking thank God.
I know, right? Okay, here we go. This is from this guy, and then we'll get into the drinker video.
The first time where I really thought like, oh, like the X-Men are really LGBTQ coded. Like,
why?
You get that really great scene where Bobby is essentially coming out to his family.
Yes.
Where Bobby Drake is telling,
And then his brother, yeah.
and his brother, exactly.
And then they say to him, "Have you ever just tried not being a
Right.
mutant?"
And
I never thought that, because like it's like what we talk about with Spider-Gwen or Luke Skywalker being gay. Like, if you want that to be the thing for your character, let it be this.
This is the first time where I really
Honestly, like I'm a little bit impressed for him. To be fair, for Troy, because like I've seen him kind of go the other way. You know what I mean? Where like he's trying to be funny, but that was a legitimate like, yeah, no, like that was completely like, holy shit.
So Troy Bond, for those of you who don't know, he's a comedian, but he's also a fucking nerd, and he is actually really intellectual. But yeah, he says things for like the sake of comedy to get, you know, the laughter or haha. But then you watch his podcast and he like totally nerds out and he knows his shit. When I first saw Troy Bond, it was because he was calling out a heckler for talking about his
I know that one. I know that one.
The black Spider-Man shirt, and he basically was talking about how like, no, it's Black Spider-Man, it's not Venom. And he got the date wrong by like a couple of years or so, but he was still technically right. Like, it wasn't like Venom came out after. But anyways, yeah, no. Troy Bond's great. I think he's a cool dude, but yeah, he's definitely tired of the bullshit too. I see his posts.
I think a lot of people are getting tired of the bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people are getting really tired of just this constant fucking nonsensical push of bullshit. And that's kind of what we can actually use that as a segue into this last one here. Have you ever actually watched a drinker video?
I watched the one he did about the Harry Potter TV show. There were some things I was shocked that he said where I was like, okay, he's not being a complete dick in this one. But no, I haven't watched like many. I think the only time I really watched him was on your panel when you were reacting to him.
Yeah, well, I've only seen like a couple of his, because I never really wanted to react with it because I was just losing brain cells. But like I said, it's kind of like, fuck it, here we go. Let's have ourselves a little bit of fun here, because I have noticed that in the past 2 weeks. Now, I'm not saying I'm the impetus of this, because that would be egotistical and narcissistic. But, you know, I said that I wasn't going to watch fucking Project Hail Mary because Andy Weir was chumming around with a chud. Everyone loses their shit on that one. Okay. Right. People lose their mind. It's like a fucking tweet gets like almost 1 million views or whatever. All right. And then lo and behold, a couple days later, Andy Weir comes out and he apologizes for the things that he said while on that podcast. Right. Not that he was there, but just he was apologizing for things he had said about Star Trek. Okay. Now, I ain't saying that I am directly responsible for that, because I don't know. But I'm saying it's kind of an interesting coinkydink, don't you think? People get mad. It gets shared around. It draws more attention. Streisand effect kicks in. And then people come a-running. Just saying. Don't know. Jarbodamus? Don't know. Can't say. Don't know. But let's check this one out. All right. Are you ready for the wannabe Shrek? Okay, I can't do it very well.
Please don't do that again.
I should do all my commentary on his videos in a fucking terrible Scottish accent. Just be like, Lordy, here we go. I'm just gonna do my best Gerard Butler impersonation. There we go.
Controversies and bad press swirling around James Gunn's Supergirl, not by James Gunn, got me thinking to myself, surely there must have been a better way to do this. Surely the mega minds at DC could have found a way to introduce this movie to the public in a way that would win people over and get them excited instead of turning them away.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just noticed I watched one Critical Drinker video and I just realized he reuses little clips. Like, talk about lazy editing.
No, it's all lazy. It's super lazy. They reuse the same things constantly. He did a video. Well, he did a video a while back, and this is one I actually kind of want to react to again. It was basically like why Hollywood is like forgotten men. I forget the exact title to it.
Oh, we watched that.
That's the one we watched. That's the one we watched, and it was so bad. It was so it was
emasculating men. That's what
and it was a terrible video. Like, it was a terrible thesis.
Yeah,
right. And it was just like, and because that goes to show you, like, again, all he does, what you guys have to understand about Critical Drinker is that he is a human embodiment of just like shiny keys. You know, now it's true. He's a human embodiment of shiny keys. And then like he just plays with himself and they fucking jingle jangle. And his audience is like, oh, slop, oh, feed me slop, daddy. You know what I mean? Like, they all just get there and they just open their mouths and they're just waiting for the fucking shots of cum. And it's just like, that's what he does. That's all he is. So yes, he'll reuse a lot of the same clips and he'll talk about the message, you know, which is just the stupidest thing ever. But here we go.
And so I asked myself, what could I have done differently if I was in charge? Could the drinker, in fact, have fixed Supergirl?
Okay, so first and foremost, Drinker does have experience. I want to just preface this of writing Jason Bourne type fiction. Okay. And starring a white male, a cishet white male. So let's see if what he says is in any way not just a characterization of that. I'm very curious. Will there be any femininity to the character of Supergirl if written by Will Jordan, aka the Critical Drinker?
I mean, I know this series is more about rewriting existing movies than managing PR campaigns, but hey, I can be flexible.
Okay, what do you mean? I have to go through this because this is going to anger me probably all the way through. I don't know what he means necessarily by like rewriting movies, because Supergirl has only really appeared in the 1984, I think 1984 or 1987 Supergirl film with Helen Slater, and 2023's The Flash movie with Sasha Calle, or who I thought was good in the role. I actually really enjoyed The Flash. So it's kind of like, other than that, you had the 7 seasons with Melissa Benoist on CW. So like, what movies are they rewriting? That becomes the question.
And really, it touches on the same issues that a lot of movies experience these days, so why not use it as a learning experience for all of us? Ready? Too bad, I'm going in anyway. Now, the first and most important thing they should have done with this movie was to understand their market, and not just what it wants, but how big it even is anymore. And this is where I have to deliver some unpleasant truths, dear viewer. They're not going to taste very good, but just like Tatiana, you will swallow them. And in the
Is that what meme is that?
I don't know, but these clips are not really aligning to whatever the fuck he's saying.
They don't mean to. The thing I've noticed though is that these clips are cranked up to like 60 frames a second, or they're done in a way that is meant to have like higher motion smoothing. They're meant to look off. And the reason why they're meant to look off is so you don't stop watching them, because it runs weird in your brain. And so because it runs weird in your brain, you're going to keep looking at them. And also count how long each clip is. It's like 5 to 8 seconds, and then they cut to another one. And they have to do that. So the retention rate is high. I never do that because I'm lazy as fuck, and I think my voice does all the work. But still, that's what he does.
end, you'll thank me. I mean, she never has, though.
Again, who? Tatiana. Who's Tatiana? Anyone?
I guess it must be an inside joke.
It's got to be an inside joke. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Swallow Tatiana. Yeah. Do you know who the fuck that is? Because I don't. Spherical Man here says Drinker doesn't know a single thing about Supergirl, just FYI. Most likely. That's kind of the whole point. These guys don't ever know what they're talking about, but they talk because if you speak with like arrogance, it denotes intelligence. And
Google
if you can,
free.
what? Google is free. That's true. So is Comics Explained. Comics Explained. Watch one Supergirl video on Comics Explained and see then make your video, Drinker. But okay, let's keep going.
Truth number one is that superhero movies in general just aren't very popular anymore. I've already talked about superhero fatigue, oversaturation of the market, and the general decline of audience interest ad nauseum in other videos, so I'm not going to bore you with the whole argument again here.
It's not that I don't believe superhero fatigue is real. The numbers have been declining, but then again, ever since Endgame and the culmination of the Infinity Saga, they have not been able to replicate that particular energy. And DC films have, like, by and large, been harmed anyway. So, like, for example, the Batman came out 2022, did $774 million. Okay. In 2023, we already knew because Black Adam had come out and did like $360 million, I think. Anyway, 2023, we knew that was going to be the last year of the DCEU. Those 4 movies that came out during the course of that year, Shazam 2, The Flash, Blue Beetle, and Aquaman, grossed $968 million between them. So the Batman, one movie, did way, way, way more, profit-wise than all 4 of those films combined. So it's like, and that was also in many ways because you had the death of a franchise, and people were then gearing up for something else, And then in 2024, didn't the only Marvel movie that they had that year was Deadpool and Wolverine. So it's like it's a big movie. I don't think the fatigue is there. I think they need to slow it down, space it out more appropriately, and go from there. But that's about it.
Instead, I'll just point to the MCU's box office returns as an example. In the 7 years from 2012 until 2019, the MCU had a total of 9 movies that grossed over $1 billion each. In the 7 years since then, you know how many they've managed? 2. And both of those films relied heavily on nostalgia to get arses in seats.
But then again, you had 2021, Black Widow, which was also simultaneously released on Disney Plus under the special premium video on demand, which I think that one did like $120 million in profit for Disney.
Also
and Marvel. And the pandemic, well, that was another thing too. Pandemic wise, we have seen they have not been able to come back. Year after year, they're still roughly 20% down pre-COVID numbers. And those numbers are slowly ticking up, but not necessarily getting back to where they were pre-COVID. And also they've been focusing more on like less big names. He's also overlooking the fact that, Spider-Man No Way Home did rely quite a bit on nostalgia, but it was also the end of a trilogy. And it was also following a very popular Spider-Man. And then bringing back in the other characters was just like icing on the cake. And then Deadpool and Wolverine was a long gestating project that fans had been asking for quite some time and that they got. And it was a good movie. So there's factors with all of this kind of shit, right? But again, someone like Drinker does not understand the nuance of the world around him, of what's happening in Hollywood or anything else. But he's going to rely on what's available and, we'll debunk it.
Now, that's bad enough, but shall I hit you with another harsh truth?
Okay.
Well, I don't care if you're ready. I'm doing it anyway. Female-led superhero movies don't tend to make money.
I think that lady's dead, by the way.
That's crazy.
I thought I heard that this lady from 2016, I thought I heard she died. And if she's dead, using this clip still is kind of morbid. All right, but female-led superhero movies. How many female-led superhero films have there been? Not many. You can count them on your fucking hand. Supergirl, not Supergirl, sorry, Captain Marvel. There's the Marvels, which failed to please anyone, from my understanding. And Supergirl, I mean, there's really not many. But let's see what he has to say, because maybe he knows something I'm not thinking of.
Hey, don't hate me for telling inconvenient truths. And don't just take my word for it either. The numbers speak for themselves. In the past decade, there's been 9 major female-led superhero movies in theaters. And of those 9, only 3 have actually managed to turn a profit. Captain Marvel, Wakanda Forever, and Wonder Woman.
Okay, so I will say this about Captain Marvel. It didn't matter what movie was coming out before Endgame. It didn't matter. It was going to be big. The hype for Endgame, following Infinity War, following Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and leading into that hype train from when they released the first trailer for Endgame back in January of 2019, leading up to the release of that movie. You could have put like a re-release of Ang Lee's The Hulk, and it probably would have done like $700 million. You know what I mean? Like, it was that kind of hype. Wonder Woman 2017. I forgot about Wonder Woman. That did pretty well. Wonder Woman, the 1984, that was a co-release, right? That was a day and date release on theaters as well as HBO Max. So that doesn't really count in regards to the success. Birds of Prey came out like a week or two before COVID shut down. Dark Phoenix was a 2019. That was the end of the fucking X-Men saga. And I wouldn't say that was a female-led story. Yes, it dealt with Jean Grey, but James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender were the two leads of that movie. They were like the top build people. You know, what else did he say here? Black Widow, again, that was released in 2021. They had the ability to purchase it over on Disney Plus. So you had a bunch of that. The Marvels would probably be one of the only ones you could really, really, really say. Did they give anything other? Birds of Prey, the Marvels, yeah, okay. So all of these, if you think about it, with the exception of the first Wonder Woman, the first Captain Marvel, and the Marvels, were all either impacted or ending. Impacted by COVID or ending. Dark Phoenix was 2019, but that was also like one that was coming to an end. And Dark Phoenix, by the way, I will say this, has like the coolest third act action sequence on that train. Oh my God, that scene's amazing. That scene is worth the price of admission. I was legit bummed when that was over. Like, I was legit upset walking out of the theater because I liked those characters and I liked those performances, and that it was over sucked. But that's basically about it. So let's keep going.
Only 3 have actually managed to turn a profit: Captain Marvel, Wakanda Forever, and Wonder Woman. That means only 1 in 3 female-led superhero movies from the...
Sorry. Okay. And then also, what's this one here? Thunderbolts is female-led. I mean, if you're going to bring up, Florence Pugh as being the primary character on that one, and Yelena Belova, I would absolutely agree with you. But it's more of an ensemble piece.
She's a great character.
She's a great character. And also, did you see Thunderbolts?
I did.
Fuck, that movie was good.
It really was. I was actually like, damn.
Yeah, the guy making that one is going to be doing the first X-Men movie for Marvel.
That's sick. But
I'm fucking hyped.
Real quick, it's almost 3 and I have to work. I didn't expect to be here this long, but also Critical Drinker's boring me. So I'm like,
yeah, I know. That's okay. Go fall asleep. This is hey, Critical Drinker is why you can't get no pussy. Same, bro.
I'm just like, bro, this shit's boring.
She's dry as shit right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go spend time with my dude. He needs to wet me up again. So
yes,
thanks for having me on, though. Welcome back to Chud Talk.
Yeah, thank you for being here. We'll do it again soon.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
All right, later, Saggy. Thank you. All right, so thank you everyone for Saggy for popping on in. Check out her channel. Oh, sorry, it's what is it now? Revolutions. What does she go by now? I never fucking know. Revelations. REIVELATIONS if you want to go check her out. All right, let's get back into this.
Past decade have actually succeeded. And out of those 3, Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel both came out before the decline of superhero movies in general, and both of those
before COVID, you dipshit,
crashed out with disastrous sequels that brought in 80% less than their predecessors. The only film to buck the trend here is Wakanda Forever, which ported a female character in to replace the male lead of the previous film after the actor passed away in real life. It's kinda hard to gauge the merits of this film on its own, because in some ways it was coasting on the massive success of the first Black Panther movie, although I would point out that it made $500 million less at the box office.
Because it was not a fun movie. I think that also really factors in. Black Panther, actually the joke I made about Black Panther in 2018 was that it was the first female-led Marvel movie because of Shuri and what's her name? The Lupita Nyong'o's character. God, what's her name? Anyway, they were great. Everyone was great in Black Panther. It was a fucking phenomenal film. It was also a lot of fun. And it was, and then you go and you watch Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and that movie's not fun. It's a 2.5-hour funeral. It's a dour time. It's the movie is designed to be a cathartic release for people who are really dealing with the death of Chadwick Boseman, and I completely understand that. I really do. But it is also not a movie that you want to go back to multiple times. You just don't. You know, there's nothing about it you're going to get a second or third time that you didn't get the first time. It lays everything out on its sleeve. And that is also because that's what it's designed to do. But I digress.
All of this is a long-winded way of saying that female-led superhero movies have a pretty spotty success rate.
No, it's not. It's not even really that true. If you look at the rate of the films that have come out, he hasn't even talked about Birds of Prey and the pandemic. All right, he didn't really mention Black Widow and the pandemic. You know, he didn't mention Wonder Woman. He mentioned Wonder Woman 1984, but not the pandemic. All right, notice that there is a word that is not coming out of his mouth, and that word is pandemic. All right, and so he's not saying that because he knows that that's a factor for not only these movies but every movie. And if you're not going to bring up every movie in this particular factor, then you are being disingenuous. But of course, Drinker would never be disingenuous, right? I mean, obviously not. I mean, that just gives me the vapors to think about him being disingenuous. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Especially in recent years. Then there's name recognition to think about. See, Superman himself is about as ubiquitous as any fictional character can possibly be. You could pick almost any human being on the face of the earth, from a goat herder in Peru to an izakaya owner in Japan. Show them a picture of Superman and they'll probably know exactly who he is. He's had endless comics, movies, TV shows, cartoons, and merchandise made about him for almost 100 years now. He may be one of the single most marketable characters ever created. Well, apart from this fucking thing at least.
That I agree with. That is a take I agree with. Superman is heavily marketed, albeit not as popular. This is really funny, right? Batman, Harley Quinn, Joker, Superman. That's your hierarchy of characters.
Girl, though? Nah, not so much. Especially in the world of film and TV, which is what we're talking about here. Her first and so far only big screen outing was the disastrous 1984 movie. God bless Helen Slater, though. She tried her little heart out with that one. And
see, okay, so let me just kind of point that out. If Helen Slater's Supergirl came out today, they would be saying the same thing about that they're saying about this. And that is where we get into the whole like lens of nostalgia. Okay, that's where we start when we start looking at that. They don't have an ability, if you will, to look at the older films through the lens of the time that they came out. They can only look at the films through the lens of what it was like when they watched them as a child. Will Jordan and I, similar ages. Nerdrotic's a little bit older. Geeks and Gamers is a little bit younger. A lot of those guys, we operate in the same kind of like 80s, 90s kids mentality. So yes, we saw this stuff, but we saw this stuff years after the fact. We saw this stuff on home video or on cable television, where it's either cut up and edited together like crazy. Our memories of these movies are not the same kind of memories that our kids are going to have of newer movies now because of the accessibility. So therefore, he is not actually able to go into it and look at it through the same kind of cultural lens, which is why he says it was disastrous and she tried her little heart out. You have nothing else to say about the movie because, well, for one, there's no point. And two, you don't have, well, there's no nostalgia there to pull from, right? Or if there is, you like it. You remember liking it when you were a kid. Maybe it wasn't great, but you still kind of enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole fucking angle here. Is they operate under the weird opioid of nostalgia rather than trying to like look at things as where they were when they came out. Like, I mean, look, like for example, people were talking shit about Mario Brothers from 93, you know, that it was a critical disaster, a financial disaster, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, everyone I knew fucking loved that goddamn movie. And even now, 30 years later, I love that goddamn movie. So for me, I'm never going to look at that movie through the lens of the critics that at the time. I'm going to always look at that movie through the lens of an 11-year-old kid who loved it. And it's never going to be any different. So it's like, that's the nostalgia. And I can admit that, right? Could I tear Super Mario Brothers apart when I watch it again? Yes, probably could. Could I tear the new movies apart? Absolutely. But do I enjoy them? Fuck yes, I do. right? So like there's the difference. It's that whole idea of, can you maybe tear something apart? You could tear anything apart if you try hard enough. But at what point in time did you enjoy it? That becomes the question you need to ask yourself. And that becomes the question these guys need to start positing. When did you stop in liking things? That becomes my question. Oh, wrong image.
While the TV show from a few years ago had some fans on the CW, it was hardly a global success. One failed movie from 40 years ago and a mildly successful TV show don't exactly launch a character into the public consciousness.
Mildly successful is a very fascinating way of looking at that, because on CBS, yes, Supergirl's first season was minimal in numbers compared to literally anything else on the network. But what it was minimal at in numbers was still greater than anything by a fucking landslide over on the CW. So when they brought her over to the CW, they brought a lot of those viewers with, and she did very well on the CW for what it was. Never mind whatever they were able to do for home video sales, Hulu streaming after the fact, or when they went to Netflix officially for the post-season release on Netflix, what her numbers were there. Now, I don't think he'll bring those up, because to his argument, those numbers don't matter, when in reality, yeah, they fucking do.
Now, all of this is relevant because Superman, based around a far more popular and well-known character, in the movie that was supposed to relaunch an entirely new universe of DC on film, barely scraped its way to $600 million last year. That is not a good result, no matter how people try to spin it.
I mean, I don't disagree, but I do disagree on the framing. Okay, I have been one for years now to say Superman, in regards to theatrical release, he's a B tier character, C tier, D tier. He's not an A-list character. Okay, in comics maybe, in pop culture maybe, but on the screen, he's not. And so the movie itself did well enough to kind of get itself to a profitability margin, but its home video sales were apparently pretty good, and it's done well on HBO Max. So that's good. Because again, the shifting tides of the theater goers are what is ultimately, again, what's kind of always being discussed. But the difference here is that when these guys don't actually sit there and talk about the home video sales and talk about the streaming numbers to help talk about its overall success, is again disingenuous, because to them, the only data point that they have truly is just box office returns. And they don't know if the movie itself made any money in profit. Now, Forbes reported that the movie apparently did like 100 million, 125 million in profit. Well, that's one outlet reporting that. Many other outlets haven't reported that, but no one's really disputing it because nobody has access to the books, right? Usually when somebody says something is profitable, it's like an anonymous person or like an executive at the company or whatever. They're saying it. Is it true? We have no way of knowing. We don't have access to Hollywood accounting, and we know that Hollywood accounting is in many ways utterly a scam. So they make enough to get by. They make enough to make another one. That's kind of the whole fucking point. But again, he's not talking about it from that perspective because he doesn't know. But he can't let you know that, because if he let you know that his thesis is incomplete based upon incomplete data, then it kind of falls apart.
And realistically, it's probably as good as it's going to get for DC now. I think it's safe
Okay, that I agree with as well, but that has everything to do with the merger.
to say that Supergirl is going to make less than that did. It's just a question of how much. The reality is that regardless of its creative merits, and that's debatable right now, a movie like Supergirl is weak. It's a lame duck. The only way it can succeed is by using what I call the Captain Marvel doctrine.
Okay, so before we dive into that, let's actually kind of talk about this for a second. Is the character of Supergirl weak? Well, in many ways, yes, but not for the reasons he's trying to explain. You see, and this is something Will Jordan knows and understands, but he won't tell you again because, again, disingenuous. All right. You have to have a character that goes on an arc. If you have a character that does not have an arc, that does not have a beginning, a middle, and an end, a journey, then there's no reason for that character to exist. What are you doing at that point? You are literally just telling us this happens and then that happens and then that happens and then that happens, and it's boring. Okay. What you need is what's known as the but therefore method. And this is something South Park does. You need something to happen but then this happens, therefore that happens. It's cause and effect, right? It's moving your character through the story with cause and effect that then peaks and valleys, right? They win some, they lose some, but either way, they keep moving forward until they get to that end goal at the end. They have the epiphany of what needs to be changed. Then they go and they do it. And then you've got your final. And that's a very simple way of approaching a character arc. When you look at the ideas here that he's going to be talking about, probably he's going to approach this from like either a girl power, girl boss, overpowered shit. But this is a character in this iteration of this Tom King story who is broken. She is isolated. She does this to herself. She copes and self-medicates with alcohol. She wants to forget her past, and the only thing that brings her any joy is her dog. And I think that's actually a relatively relatable character, minus the flying and the laser eyes and shit. How many of us have felt like that? How many of us do feel like that currently? I think that is going to be ultimately a draw for the people who see the movie. Now, the downside to that, though, is I don't know if the trailer conveyed it well enough. It didn't for me, but I also kind of understand that about the character. So I don't know if that's going to work, but that's just my take on it.
Riding the momentum of a strong and successful franchise and convincing audiences they just have to see this film if they want to understand the big overarching story. Now, that worked great for Marvel back in 2019, but sadly, it's not 2019 anymore, and this ain't Marvel. It would have made infinitely more sense to give the heavy hitters like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman their own solo movies, team them up for a money-spinning Justice League crossover, and then start introducing B-tier characters like Supergirl in the next phase when
Okay, I actually agree with that. I do agree with that because that is on paper, that is the most logical way to go about it, right? Like you take your three biggest hitters and you put them together and then you build them up, you put them together and you make a lot of money. They tried that 10 years ago. Didn't work out so well. But that was also studio interference, different creators, different players, different owners. So they may be able to try it again. But I think the thing that Gunn wants is he wants to build up the super family as being the foundation. And this is where it's a problem. Because like I said before, Superman is number like 4 or 5 on the list of top tier DC characters. Batman, Harley Quinn, Joker, Superman. That's the list I'm giving you right now. But it's probably pretty accurate. So as a result of that, what you're looking at is a need to focus on what's going to be the highest moneymaker in order to help get the new parent company down on their debt. And this movie went into planning years ago. They were working on this 3 years ago. So it's not like it's anything that's like this is all before this new merger situation. So everything that, Drinker's talking about, I don't think is taking that into account.
Presumably, you'd have enough commercial momentum and fan goodwill to actually support them. What I'm saying here is that if you add all these different factors together, the challenging market for superhero movies in general these days, the historically low success rate of female-led superhero flicks in particular, and the lackluster state of the franchise it's now part of, then the chances of box office glory for Supergirl look about as likely as Gal Gadot winning an Oscar for Best Actress. A more likely scenario.
I mean, that's a low blow for Gal, but I mean, I'll allow it. Again, this franchise, this isn't the girl boss shit that he's trying to push. This is the state of affairs for DC. You know what I mean? Like this is their second reboot, in third reboot in 20 years, kind of. Like really, if you think about it, this is the 4th overall reboot of this franchise of Superman since Christopher Reeve nearly 50 years ago. Gunn is trying to recapture that and the Donner stuff because that's all fucking nostalgia shit. But again, he's trying to build the super family and he wants to have the character of Supergirl needing to go through the arc of what it means to be a hero. Again, you have the character arc where you've got the dark night of the soul, where the all is lost moment. And then from there, she overcomes her demons, saves the day, defeats the villain, and moves on. That's the redemption arc. That is the character arc. So we're going to watch her go through that here. And he's like not even going to be giving it any bit of the benefit of the doubt because it doesn't fit the fucking narrative. Captain Marvel was a bit of a harder one to sell, I think, because when we got to the arc of what she was, it was interesting, but it still didn't like make the movie any better. Like Captain Marvel's pretty mid. And I never saw the Marvels. I just was like, I wasn't interested, but I do need to sit down and watch it.
Scenario is a global haul somewhere in the region of $400 million. Not exactly great, but it also doesn't have to be a disaster either if you keep your budget under control, like under $100 million.
No superhero movie can be made for under $100 million at this point. Not with the state of affairs of the visual effects industry, not without them trying to integrate artificial intelligence to keep those costs down. It's just not going to happen. Even with all of the VFX being outsourced to other countries so they can take advantage of the tax credits, you're running into something now where it's so difficult to do something that's going to cost under $125 million, even at your like lowest level. The Joker did well because the Joker was like low budget. It was grounded. But they still used a ton of visual effects to make New York look grimy like it was in the early 1980s. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they were able to make it work because of the way that they shot it, very much indoors, very much low key, and not a lot of spectacle. This is a spectacle film. You're not going to be able to get it for under 125 million. I even think this budget is like, I think it's around that.
Any serious market research would have told them this way in advance. And if they had the common sense, they would have acted on it. Recognize the potential.
See, again, that is all speculative. Okay, now there's an AI that they've been using for years to help kind of touch upon the algorithm of what's going to do well with the star and everything else. And not everybody likes it, but that is true. There's been an AI that they've been using for a number of years now that helps them make these decisions, which is basically what he's talking about. I think James Gunn was given carte blanche by David Zaslav to come on in and shake things up. And this is what he wanted to do. And so instead of giving it, again, the benefit of the doubt to try to see if it's going to get there, it's all about poisoning the well ahead of time.
But also the limitations of your film, and accept that just throwing more money at the problem isn't going to fix it. Superman had one of the most over-the-top marketing campaigns in Hollywood history, and well, look where it got them. The second unpleasant...
To be fucking fair, Man of Steel also had a largely aggressive marketing campaign. There was like 12 or 13 trailers for Man of Steel before it came out in 2013. They really, really, really cranked up a lot of the of the marketing to try to get people to go see that movie. And this Superman did very similar stuff to it. You know, but that was also largely playing off of the Barbie marketing plan that happened 2 years prior. That was something that James Gunn had said. And to be fair, it did work. It did work. But you also have to remember, though, that it's things are different now, you know, and Warner's has a tendency of over marketing things.
The truth we have to come to terms with here is that if you're a movie studio, the media is not your friend. Yeah.
That is, I mean, it's half true, half not, to be fair.
They might be all fake smiles and friendly puff piece interviews, but at the end of the day, they have all the sincerity of a female compliment. What?
No, they're doing the same thing that everyone else is doing. Literally, the media is doing the same thing that he's doing here. Does he not realize that? Does he not understand that? The media is not your friend. Yeah, okay, and you are, right? You fucking biscuit-eating bitch. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You're out there, you think they're being disingenuous, and you're not? Everything you do is disingenuous. That's one of the reasons why all these guys do is they give away the plot constantly. All right. They operate in the same world as the fucking access media does. The media puts together an interview or puts together a story. An editor or someone who wants to get more clicks and eyeballs on the product or the project, the article, the video, whatever, will then run a hyperbolic title and thumbnail and artwork, whatever, to get people to click on it. And they're acting like they don't fucking do it too. All right. Like, come the fuck on.
What they really want to do is sell headlines, generate clicks, make noise online.
Oh, wait, maybe I'm wrong. Is he? I haven't watched the video yet, guys. I don't know this. Are we about to get a moment where the critical drinker realizes that he's also part of the grift? Do you think we're going to be able to have that revelation today? I don't know, but I'm waiting. I have goosebumps. I'm hoping. I'm anticipating. I'm really wondering, are we going to get a moment where there's a moment of clarity? Maybe Will Jordan can be saved, folks. Maybe Will Jordan has the opportunity right now to realize the error of his ways, to put down the chud work and to become a functioning member of society. We all know he ain't going to do that shit.
And nothing generates headlines like a good controversy. That is what they are looking for every minute of every day. No,
He doesn't even. It's like this is why it's so great. He is literally unironically giving away the game. Unironically giving away the game. It is a masterclass in self-ownage, but his audience is too fucking dumb to get it.
entertainment journalist worth their salt wants to report on a happy and harmonious production that's releasing into a welcoming market and expecting to do just fine. What they want is
pot meat kettle, bitch.
Conflict, backlash, sensationalism, brave actors taking a stand against hatred and intolerance. They want.
I mean, motherfucker, if you have a conservative actor come out and make a comment against the woke left or whatever the fuck it is, these guys line up to fucking just suck them dry. All right. It's the same game this is the horseshoe theory in effect. This is what I was talking about on fucking Twitter. One of the reasons why these guys are so fucking mad at me. Again, over the target. It's super easy.
To dig up something, anything to get people to click on that news article to land that next big scoop, even if they have to goad actors and celebrities into talking about things that they clearly do not want to talk about.
The reason I'm asking about the past is that you've talked in other interviews again about your relationship with your father and the role of all of that in the dark periods you entered and taking drugs and drinking and all of that. And I just wondered whether, you think you're free of all of that, or whether that's still something.
I'm sorry, I really don't. What are we doing?
Case in point.
See, okay, like that guy was a dick. All right, but he was asking a legitimate question. All right, he was asking a legitimate question because he was talking about Robert Downey Jr., talking about his father, tying that in many ways to his performance as Tony Stark. It's a touchy subject. That I'll tell you this, that's not the venue for that. A press junket talking about an Avengers movie is not the place to have that conversation. But a sit down in a one-on-one and in-depth conversation for like the trades or whatever, like that I could actually see. But that moment wasn't it. And that dude wasn't the right time to do it. You got to really, really, really pick your battles on that one.
Millie Alcock's recent statements about being a young actress in not one but two major franchises, House of the Dragon and now Supergirl. Now, that was all part of a much bigger and longer interview that covered all manner of topics, but the moment she happened to mention the reaction to her as a woman online, well, guess what every major news outlet decided to lead with?
I mean, that he's not wrong on that. That is absolutely true. Broken clock twice a day, right? But he also ran on that himself. You know what I mean? So it's like, why not take the responsibility of your own actions? And I think that's the biggest takeaway here. Why not take the responsibility for your own fucking actions? Because if you're not going to fucking do it, then what the fuck you doing? This is the thing. Like, he's actually making some points, salient points, which is something I wasn't really expecting. So I'm kind of like a little shocked. But then there's that self-realization, right? There's that little bit right there. He's so close. Like, Will, you're so close to getting it. You're right there. You're so close. All you got to do is just step over the line, buddy. You step over the line and you've got it. You've got it sorted out and you realize you're the problem too. You're almost there. I really hope this thing is a subconscious call for help. I really do.
And the thing is, it didn't have to happen that way. All she really needed to say was, fans are free to think whatever they like. All I can say is that I gave this role my best shot. I'm grateful for this opportunity, and hopefully people will give the movie a fair chance and judge for themselves.
I mean, I think all actors need to be more media trained across the board. But at the same time, they're also human. And there are gotcha questions that do get taken out of context. And that happens across the board, especially with this side of it, with the chuds. They do this shit all the time.
It's simple, it's humble, and it's uncontroversial. It's not going to win you any fans in the news media, but it's not going to turn your own customers against you. And at the end of the day,
you guys weren't her customers anyway. That's the other thing they have to remember. Maybe the House of the Dragon chuds works. If you guys recall, House of the Dragon was just like lambasted fucking forever, leading up to the show coming out. And then the show was good, season 1. Okay, season 1 was good. And then everyone's like, oh, okay, the show's good. We can maybe not talk shit about it anymore, right? Because because people like it. People like it. Oh, shit, right? Remember even The Mandalorian? They had to go after Gina Carano beating up the Mando in episode 4 until she had their politics. And then they're just like, McQueen. It's like, again, there's nothing for them to rest their laurels on because they have none.
those are the important ones. And all of this brings me to my third and final unpleasant truth here. Actors can fucking kill your movie.
It's Hollywood, baby.
Actors today don't just have to perform in the film anymore, they also have to be borderline professional hype men, PR gurus, salesmen, raconteurs, and politicians all rolled into one. And with an
But do you know why they have to do that? Because it's actually really fascinating. Because they actually get rewarded as a result of that. So when they sign up to these roles, they become incentivized in many ways to go out there and to promote the movie, to hype the movie. Because if the movie does well and they succeed, then they get rewarded. There's a reason why they do it. You know what I'm saying? And so then the media, for the same reasons he did say already, the media absolutely is pushing a lot of the shit as a result of that.
News complex that's always sniffing around for the next headline. One fuck up is all it takes to derail a film's entire promo campaign.
But but you have to remember too, there could be a fuck up, but then there's a constant hammering on that fuck up, right? In the case of Ghostbusters 2016, it was a consistent amount of fuck ups. It was constant fuck ups, not one line here or one line there. I mean, every fucking day, from the director to the actors to the studio, to the media, it was everything. It was a masterclass in how to fucking tank your film. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, but the problem though is like 10 years ago, there was some leeway with this shit. All right. There's no leeway anymore. If you say the wrong thing out of line, if you Howard Dean something, people are going to then use that against you constantly as a cudgel in order to belittle you and bash you over the head repeatedly, despite whatever you might try to say after the fact. It doesn't matter, because then there's blood in the water and the audience will reward that blood in the water.
Now, I'll admit that some actors are better at this than others. Some are master bullshit artists who can talk for hours without really saying anything and still look good doing it. Others can effortlessly deflect attempts to bait them, using charm and a bit of verbal panache to get the conversation back on track without making things awkward.
I'm curious if that's comparable to this sort of world, this culture of toxic fandom, where like if you make a movie, especially if you make a superhero movie, like you have great intentions, but there are always going to be a small yet vocal group of people there can kind of just be toxic.
I understand what you're saying, but when it comes to fans, it is a fan's right to have whatever opinion they want to have. And people are going to be upset because, especially when you're talking about books or games, because you're never going to be the exact person who they had in their head or who they played on Witcher 3, for example. I don't necessarily consider that toxic. I just consider that passionate.
And Henry is entirely right there. And that is a good that's a good example of how to handle the question like that without attacking the audience of it. Now, does Henry believe that? I would assume yes. He strikes me as the kind of guy. All right. But it's true. Like, the actors, again, if they don't have media training and they're just speaking honestly, they're humans. And then they are expected. Okay, it's not requested. All right, it's almost demanded to put up with every amount of bullshit that they get. And sometimes it's just like one thing will be the straw that breaks the camel's back. And then they are lambasted for having what is effectively known as a human moment. And that is where I feel a lot of the stuff gets just completely blown out of proportion. And it's disingenuous, it's dishonest, and it's quite frankly, it makes you an asshole to do that. People are people, people make mistakes. And if you are going to hold somebody to a perfect level status up on that pedestal, I mean, like, what are you doing in your own house? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing in your fucking own house? All right. Cause like you are literally like living in a glass house and you're hurling boulders. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's so completely wrong of them to do. And this is, again, this is also, I just want to be fair, another human moment. People will judge other people based upon their own insecurities. And that's a big factor to consider. But of course, that kind of nuance and that kind of understanding of the human nature and the human condition. And then also, there's a great word here that will never come out of Drinker's mouth or any of these people's mouths. And I think that's something that we need to remember, which is it's called empathy. Empathy is a big one. It's something I teach my 6-year-old and my 8-year-old to be empathetic to people, because that is something that everybody deserves. But you won't get that out of this because, what did we already learn from watching this video, folks? You got to have the fucking terrible headline, and you got to fucking find the angle in order to bash it into the ground. That's their way.
Fortunately, though, others don't just walk straight into the trap. They run into it head first and then keep going like they're taking a fucking victory lap. The most extreme example is obviously going to be Rachel Zegler, whose never-ending cavalcade of PR disasters obliterated any chance of success for Snow White, but there's plenty of others that have walked the same tragic path. Brie Larson effectively derailed her career for at least half a decade by coming across as prickly, aloof, combative, and about as likable as a shit sandwich during her Captain Marvel.
But you got to understand, that was all the framing by people like Critical Drinker. That was the framing by them at that time, right? It was look at how much they hate Brie Larson. Look at how much Brie Larson is just like, she thinks she's better than Chris Hemsworth. Has it ever occurred to anybody that the Avengers family has been a family since 2010 when they were all cast? And they shot the movie in 2011. The first movie came out, so on and so forth. As they built the camaraderie, they built the familial structure. They built everything that they had together. And then here comes this other person who's a bit of an outsider and is maybe trying to like find her way where she fits in, even though she doesn't really have that much to do with all this kind of stuff. Have you ever thought for a second that maybe Brie Larson was just out of her element and was really trying to fit in, but doesn't fit the same kind of dynamic that the rest of them have because of all that time spent together? I mean, have you ever been in on somebody else's friend group and not understood the in-jokes? I'm sure you have, but the difference is that the wider internet at large didn't use that as a cudgel against you and attempt to derail your career by even going as far as like storming and raiding her live streams for video games. And it's only when she did the Mario marketing tour for Galaxy and was like, basically like, hey, I'm so happy to be here, and just kept it real simple, that these guys were like, you see that now? Brie Larson is humbled. The bitch was humbled, and she's on a redemption arc, and good for her. She listened to us. That is the mentality and the mindset of these misogynistic cocksuckers. Because again, Brie Larson as a person has no agency, but Brie Larson as an actor no longer represents the human that is inside of the form. It is an object of their ridicule, of their ire, of their hatred, of their bigotry, of their misogyny, of their sexism, of everything that they threw at her. And until she just said like, yeah, I'm happy to be working on a Mario movie, and didn't say anything remotely controversial, they're like, she humbled herself. Get the fuck out of here, guys. Are you all fucking stupid? Like, this is the thing. Some of these dudes got daughters. So, like, Jeremy Griggs has got a daughter. All right. And imagine being her daughter. Imagine just being her and like finding your dad shit online. all the shit that your dad said about Whammon and all the shit that his friends said about Whammon and strong Whammon and how Whammon destroyed everything. And that's what they fucking do. How could you even look at your dad and be like, dude, you said this shit? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, well, you know, I didn't really mean it. This is all fucking part for the internet. Like, dude, Jesus Christ. Like, what, was she going to like find the starch in his hood? You know, I mean, that's all I'm saying is like, this is the kind of stuff. These people, they don't understand that their actions have a widespread reach.
Marvel interviews with journalists who were only too happy to feed the controversy, and all of that negative PR came back to bite her big time with the Marvels. Only in recent years has she finally realized these people are not on her side, and they never were, and the only correct move is not to play.
See what I'm talking
sort of
about?
Outspoken and very vocal advocate for Time's Up and Me Too. I'm curious how you feel about Johnny Depp's film opening the festival, and do you plan to see it?
You're asking me that?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't understand the correlation or why me specifically.
All of this is to
See, that is a gotcha by the journalists. But these guys would ask her something very similar, albeit maybe a little bit skewed on the perspective, because these guys are no different. I don't like that journalist question, right? Even though that question holds merit to some extent. Right? Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, there was that big case, the big trial. He won. He's there at Cannes with another movie. How do you feel about that? Right? That is a question. But like the other reporter as well, talking to Robert Downey Jr., it's all about the right place and the right time. That is not a place. But I will say also, Brie Larson probably did get some pre-R training, and it's like deflect, because that is a bit of a gotcha question. Again, I don't like it. I don't like it. I think it was ridiculous to ask it in that setting, even though I do understand the context. Right place, right time. That wasn't it.
say that if you're making a movie like Supergirl and you've got a young and impressionable lead who's still learning the fame game and could easily be baited into saying things that might harm your film's prospects, you should be very fucking careful about who you let them talk to. And you should give them as much media training as you possibly can beforehand. A single unguarded answer can cause weeks of negative media coverage, stir up fan resentment, and turn customers away from a movie they might have been on the fence about otherwise. So in a nutshell then...
So he's basically saying, do it our way or else. I mean, the Captain Marvel doctrine that he's talking about here is nothing less than a threat. And that's all they've got, right? It's, do it our way or you'll fucking face the consequences. Bleh. That's what it is. Literally, that's what it is. It's a threat. And I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. I'm sorry. It's absolutely all these guys have is just to threaten because they know that on those certain spaces, they are gods amongst ants. And they will use that to their advantage at any given time until they are no longer allowed to in whatever fashion that happens. Okay. Whew. That was a long one. I'll fully admit. That was definitely a long one there. All right. Jesus Christ. Been on for a while now. Did I miss any super chats? Oh, Spherical Man here said, let's sagging on. Yep. Okay, cool, man. Anyone got any final questions? Anything else we want to talk about? Because it's I gotta wrap it up in like maybe 20 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. You sound more threatening with that accent. Yeah, it's my Gerard Butler. Or my fat bastard, get in my belly. I hope my wire fighting team is ready. Let's see here. Helena Bonham Carter comes from a family of politicians. Her great-grandfather was British PM. I mean, yeah, if you can have the media training. The thing is, though, again, like I said, people are human, man. They're fucking human. And that ends up being the biggest issue, is the fact that they're human and that they need to sort out, that they make mistakes. But these guys, they don't want to do it. If they can find a way to profit off of that, they will. That's everything that that they can do. Let's see here. Jeremy probably brainwashed his daughter. I don't know if I'd go that far, right? But it's kind of like, again, your children are a reflection of you. And if you are going to act that way eventually your kids are going to catch on, right? Like racism, sexism, bigotry, discrimination, all that shit. The shit, man. You're not born with that. That shit's taught. That shit's fucking taught, right? Like flat out, man. Kids don't fucking hear that shit themselves. They don't make it up themselves, It's like, it don't work that way. You got it. Like, that's the whole thing. If you're out there saying like fucking racist shit, your kids are going to pick up on it and they're going to say it because they learn from let's see here. Big Fieldy says, funny thing is I used to feel similar to them, but then I had my daughter and it made me change my perspective. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. I was like really anti-feminism. And I think I was just really anti like the methods that some of these people were doing. And it was really easy to get caught up in it. And that's the other part of this as well. A lot of this stuff is all fucking based around people and their environments and what they're into, like who they're with. And peer groups and peer pressure will absolutely influence people's opinions. But when I had my daughters, it's totally different. You want them to have success. You want them to be strong, capable women, and your job is to help with that. And if I'm out there talking out one side of my mouth about how women fucking influence everything negatively, and then try to like tell my kid that they're going to be strong, like that's, I'm fucking lying. Who knew the idiots that are running the YouTube world that just assume these YouTube makers are actual idiots? No, they're pretty dumb. I learned it by watching you. That's still one of the best ones. I miss those fucking PSAs, man. Those PSAs crack me up. Let's see here. Can we expect Barron Trump to be just like his father? I don't fucking know, man. Do I think the Harry Potter show will get a low Rotten Tomato score from SJW type critics who will give it a negative rating? That's going to be wild to think about how that happens. I think what it will get is it will get a negative rating. Because every review is going to have the controversy with J.K. Rowling in it, and every review is going to have Black Snape in it as well. We're going to see a lot out of that. I don't quite know what the fuck that means, but we're going to see a lot of that. Oh, you're also dealing with a fragile male ego. Yeah, that can happen, man. I understand that. I do understand that. Like, a lot of like when you do YouTube full time and you have a big audience, people come talk to you. People come at you for a lot of different reasons, right? I got some weird parasocial idiots that fucking follow my ass, and like literally hang off of every word I say, misrepresent everything that I say, and then never take responsibility for doing it when I call it out. It's kind of funny. But it can lead to like having an ego, doing this as anything. You have to have a healthy ego to be able to do it. But these guys live in such an echo chamber that like they could never let anybody out. They could never let anybody else in at all. Let's see. I decided I wanted the world to be a better place for my kids. That's all we can do, man, really. John says, yes, kids are electromagnetically imprinted growing up. This occurs from 0 years of age to about 7 years old. Each human's heart transmits an EMP field, and then information is imprinted on the kids. I don't know how much of that I believe. Okay. I'd have never heard that before, but it is what it is. Let's see. Matt, will reviewers who give Harry Potter show a positive review be harassed by the SJW types? Fuck, dude. Twitter's going to be a goddamn war zone. It is. It's going to be a war zone. I have no idea. I think the show itself is going to come out and do well. They just had that Harry Potter, the Finding Harry Potter show that was on HBO Max, and apparently it's done well viewership wise. So that's going to be something that is good for that, I think. And but again, at the same time, I do not know. I don't know. I assume there is going to be some shit that goes on. I just don't know to what capacity. I literally just don't know how it's going to get. And it can literally go like a multitude of different ways. So what I mean by that is like it could go like the SJWs go after fucking J.K. Rowling, and then the racists go after Snape, right? So it's like both sides have something to go after. It almost creates, to some extent, this like perfect ecosystem of shit, right? So one side's like, well, fuck J.K. Rowling, and the other side's like, well, fuck Black Snape, and then everyone, and then like, well, we can't really like, well, we could go after them saying, fuck Black Snape. And then they'll be like, yeah, but why are you, like you guys are racist for calling out the Black Snape. Well, why are you, calling out JK for having an opinion? Right. You see what I mean? Like it's a perfect double-edged sword that like cuts everybody. You know what I mean? So that could end up being the thing that ends up working well for them. I don't know. If I boycott things the author creators views you object to, you will barely be able to read or watch anything. I said I'm not going to see the movie in theaters, man. Doesn't mean I'm not going to see the movie eventually. Okay, it's going to hit digital here in like pretty soon. I'm not going to support it on that front. Sorry, I'm just not going to. You're still weirded out by them casting Tina Fey as Harry. I guess so. Rational here says, I just hope that the child actors don't get harassed. They don't need that at their age. Yes, I hope so as well. I definitely hope so as well. No child deserves that. No child deserves that at all. I hope that they are protected. I don't know if they will be, but they'd better. They'd really better, because those kids haven't done anything. They've just simply taken a job. And I do wish them the best. Even if I'm like about it, I still wish them the best. It's a good movie. Yeah, I'm sure Project Hail Mary is a fine movie. I'm pretty sure it's a fine movie. All right. And like I said, I like the directors. I like the talent behind it. I have issue with the chuds that are trying to fucking do all that shit. Did I see the Black Snape AI video from Nerdrotic? I did. I didn't know that it was him though. I don't know if he made that or if he paid somebody to make that. No, there's definitely subtle. That wasn't even subtle racism. Oh yeah. Well, it was stereotypical. But what cracked me up the most about that was, he's rolling through the streets of London with a gat. By and large, he'd have a knife. So, let's see here. At least was he doing drive-bys on the bird? Yeah, it's fucking funny. Let's see here. I just saw Clerks 3 is free to watch on YouTube. When's the watch party? Yeah, I need to go through all those ones. One of the things I'm going to do for the Podio commentary, because I'm moving all the reviews over to that channel, is because I'm just going to make this channel I'm just going to respond to commentary and do shit like that. I'm probably just going to clip up segments from streams and then put those out and then just do that. I'll move the reviews over there. I want to go through all the Kevin Smith movies, maybe not in chronological order, but I just want to kind of go through all of them and dive in, because I haven't seen Yoga Hosers and I haven't seen Tusk. Those are the two, and I haven't seen Kilroy Was Here, but I can get a copy of it. So, we need to talk about that one. I will say this though. Did you watch, I can't do, what is this? I can't do a watch party on YouTube like this. I would have to go into a private room, and I'm not paying that kind of money for fucking StreamYard. And then what? Then you'll move back over here. No, I'm not going to do that because they have nothing else. I'd rather have them have a shot. I'm actually getting notifications from YouTube that like some of the shorts I put on Podio commentary are getting views. Right. So it's like, I might as well just have it be over there. Speaking of brooms, remember the vibrating broom toys they had to recall for obvious reasons? They're re-releasing a He-Man power sword that vibrates. Why does it need to vibrate? I don't know what the obsession with vibration is. I think it's kind of ridiculous, to be fair. It's like, Jesus Christ, you guys. Fucking hell. Not everything needs to vibrate, I don't know. Let's see. Can't wait for Steve Shives' post on Twitter why the children getting harassed is okay because they're helping transphobic J.K. Rowling make money. You know what? If you were to put together like an AI generator for Steve Shives' really batshit insane opinions, that would be an all-time banger. You know what cracked me up? I actually took a look the other day at Movie Bob, and Movie Bob I still think is just a fucking idiot. This guy, I don't know what it is that he thinks is all about, right? So I'm not going to bring the video, but I'm just going to show you guys this here. So over here you can see that he's got this. How long is this video? This video is 36 minutes and 45 seconds. The new big picture HBO Max Harry Potter. Why? You know what? I just want you guys to actually hear the first.
This looks stupid
the-
and pointless, and I'm not going to watch it. And also, J.K. Rowling is basically girl Hitler, so that's also a reason.
Yeah. In 8 seconds, just listen to this again.
This looks stupid and pointless, and I'm not going to watch it. And also, J.K. Rowling is basically girl Hitler, so that's also a reason.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, like, you know, I think J.K. Rowling has got issues that I don't agree with. Would I go as far as to call her girl Hitler? The answer to that is no. But when has Movie Bob ever been anything other than a hyperbolic man baby? Okay. Because that's what I just thought that was like, what the fuck, bro? He spends 36 and a half, almost 37 minutes basically explaining why he won't see the show. Right. And he even acknowledges that it's kind of dumb that he's doing it. But that's just Movie Bob for you. That is just what these fucking people do. He just does not. It's frustrating, guys. It's very frustrating. So, it needs to vibrate so it feels good in your ass. I mean, like, yeah, duh, but still. I mean, this is a toy for kids. It's not a good idea. You know, I'll say this. I don't think children are going to be buying any He-Man merch. As excited as I am for Masters of the Universe, and I am, I don't think it's going to be there, to be honest with you. So, but how far am I in Crimson Desert? I'm still in Hernand. I'm still in the first part of the game. It is a lot in that game. I've been right now working on rebuilding my my Greymane camp. There's a lot of missions for that, like holy shit, but working on that stuff while then also trying to do some, main quest stuff, faction quests. I can steal goats in the game, but I don't understand why. I can steal wagons. You can usually find a wagon that's been abandoned after the bandits killed the owner, and then you can just steal it and take it to like a wagon fence and get like 12 silver for it, which is really not that much. Drinker and Bob proved the horseshoe theory. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say definitely that they proved the horseshoe theory as well as Drinker and like Steve Shives do. Let's see here. The first 2 episodes of The Boys season 5 are okay, but the plot holes and plot armor are getting exhausting. I think if you're referring to the plot armor in regards to Homelander, you got to look at the psychology of Homelander. He doesn't want to kill them. Like, he wants to kill them. He doesn't want to kill them. Like, legitimately. Like, go watch episode 2 and like the beginning and the end. Okay. He says a line. I'm not gonna repeat it, but he says a line, and that gives you every reason to understand why he doesn't want to do it. There's a line between him and Huey in episode 1, again, that proves exactly why he will not actually kill them. I'm not going to say what it is because people haven't seen it yet, but I thought it was really good. But you have to look at the psychology of Homelander. That's what I'll say. What's the horseshoe theory? So the horseshoe theory is basically take political ideologies, and the left and right at the most extreme are equal but opposite, right? They're the same level of extreme at the distance as they, because they're equal on the same side. That's what it is. The idea behind it is that a person on the right who's an extremist is basically the same as the person on the left. No, it's not. It's season 5, episode 1. So if you don't know what's going on, then you just don't know what's going on. And that's okay. That's okay. Just definitely go and watch it. So it's a very good, very, very, very good show. I like it a lot. Oh, what do we got here? Okay. Let's see. I think I'm going to wrap it up. I got to go to the bathroom. I've been sitting here for 3.5 hours. And I've drinking like 3 bottles of water. So I'm gonna go. But I appreciate everybody hanging out tonight. Thank you all. I'll be back next week to do more of these. So if you have any videos you want me to take a look at, want me to respond to, let me know. If anything, let's start pushing back on some of this shit, because the only way we're gonna save cinema is by getting rid of the riffraff. And let's go.